Colby Smith here with one of the birthday boys today, turning 21. Dan Payton, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about it. Outlaws coming off a tough loss yesterday on the road in Amsterdam. What'd you see in that one?
Just a couple things we could improve on, just the walks and the capitalizing on scoring runs when they're in scoring position. That's basically the two main things I saw.
Well, and as a pitcher to sit there and watch a game like that unfold, what are some of the things that you really think about and cross your mind?
I just want to usually encourage the pitcher that's in the game when they're in the situations like that, because I could be in that situation, so I understand what's happening with them, and kind of just encourage my teammates to just keep going. You know, baseball's a weird game. We were down 10. Well, we couldn't really do anything about it because we were on mercy, but we're down 10. Baseball's a weird game. We could come back 10. You never know. But yeah, you just keep encouraging your teammates and being a good teammate.
Well, and from a pitcher's standpoint, like you said, somebody who could be in that situation. Yeah. I mean, how tough is it to really have an outing where you're, having this hard time finding the strike zone and everything's not going your way?
Yeah, it's tough. It's just like it's a grind. You got to just keep throwing, maybe go to your secondary and just hope that lands. But you really got to just trust your defense, let them hit it. I trust this defense. We got a very good squad, a very good defense. So I kind of just, when I'm out throwing strikes, I'm just trying to let that guy hit it, trust my defense, get some outs.
Well, when you talk about how good this defense has been, how do you feel like that's really been a strong point for this team in the early goings?
Yeah, I think our defense, our offense, I think our hitters are just really good. I think that's going to be our pitching's really good, but our hitting's very good. I really trust our fielders, our hitters. I think they're doing a great job.
Well, and how tough do you think it's been for this team to have all these off days that were unplanned in the early goings too?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, yesterday was kind of our first game back in 5 days-ish, 4 days. So you got to get back in that rhythm. You know, guys haven't really been seeing live pitching. Guys haven't been throwing to live batters. You know, just kind of like sometimes you can't get in for work because it's just raining all day. It's just yeah. I think today is we'll start rolling into it. Play again, not tomorrow, the next day, then the next day. Then we just start playing. I think we're gonna start. We just got to get in a rhythm.
Well, and what kind of things do you work on or keep in mind when you have a stretch like that where you're not playing, not seeing pitching and whatnot?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of just tried to stay in the weight room, knowing how much time I had. Keep throwing with my just throw every day, work on some mechanical stuff, and then once it comes time, you know, you're prepared to go. But yeah, the breaks are definitely tough.
Well, and what kind of other things have you been up to with these off days, and what kind of things have you enjoyed about being in Oneonta so
far? Off days, I'll get my sleep. I'll wake up, get some food, and then I'll go probably lift with my off days. And then after that, there's very good views here, so I've been looking at views. I've been trying new foods too. Like Oneonta has very good food spots. I feel like. I mean, I just been kind of playing the game too because it's been rain on the off days, kind of thing. So like, got to find time to do that. But I've been on the game a lot too. I'm not gonna lie.
What are some of the go-to food spots that you've liked so far?
For breakfast, it's been Oneonta Bagel Co. in downtown Oneonta. Their bagels are very good. I enjoy them. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I usually say bagels wrong, and then the Long Island guys get on me. But yeah, that for breakfast, and then Tino's is pretty good. I mean, everybody knows that. I think that's like a popular spot. What's a spot I went to? The 24-hour Subway is clutch. Post game, I'll go hit that. But yeah, I mean, I gotta do a little bit more. But breakfast spot, Oneonta Bagel Shop, it's good.
Well, and I got to ask, as somebody who's played in this league before, being as you spent time in Boonville last summer, how does the experience of being here playing for the Laws compare and contrast?
Yeah, last year was pretty cool. It was. I was on a farm. This year I'm in the town. There's a lot of things going on at all times, so that's been cool. I got a lot of like more food options. I feel like it's very different settings for sure. And last year I didn't know anybody. This year I came in with like 6 of my friends, so I already knew some guys. So it's been a lot more easy to like transition into. It's more like yeah.
Well, and how is it a comfort thing for you to just have some familiar faces around the locker room?
Yeah, that was good. It helped. I mean, I'm not too bad at meshing with guys usually, but sometimes it takes a little bit. But when you have guys already, it's nice. I also knew one other guy coming in, so I had a couple of guys I knew. It definitely helps with your. It helps. It helps with your brain. You know someone. You're not stressed out as much. You the other guys. I'll be cool with them down the road. Yeah.
Well, and how would you describe the level of competition here at the PGCBO?
Yeah, definitely higher than what I've seen. I think it's very good for people who are trying to play that next level to come here and play here. I mean, there's a lot of just Power 5 guys, and I've faced some batters that I never thought I would have faced, like very big schools. So I think it's a very cool experience.
Speaking of next level, you recently made your college commitment to Montreat.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on that.
Appreciate that.
Tell me a little bit about how that process went down.
Yeah, I was kind of marking myself on Twitter. My boy goes to that school already. Jaden Hughes, he's on Glens Falls, so he kind of put me on a little bit with the coach, and he kind of saw me on Twitter, so started talking like December. I really like the program. I think it's a very good program. Um, I think I want to play. I hope there's an opportunity for me to play there, and I'm a very happy decision. I'm down south instead of Canada now, so not as much snow. Trying to get away from the snow a little bit for a couple of years, and yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity, and I also know a guy there as well, so that's also another factor into it. So I think it's gonna be a good experience, and I'm excited for it.
Dan, one last question here before I let you get back to it. And getting back to the mound, your next outing, the rest of the summer, what are some of your target things that you're hoping to work on and accomplish?
Just a lot of strikes, establishing the fastball, and then working off of that kind of thing. Just strikes, though. This is my main goal.
Dan, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, as you heard from Dan Payton, 2 birthdays on the side of the Outlaws today, neither of which is in the starting lineup. A big 21st goes out to both Dan Payton and Matt Carrera, so happy birthday. We got cupcakes ready for a little post-game party on the bus as Outlaws team owner Gary Lane certainly loves to celebrate these guys the best he can, and there's certainly, hopefully, on the side of the Outlaws, going to be something to celebrate tonight. Coming in, 2-game slide dating back to last week. Last night up at Amsterdam, you heard about it from Dan Payton, but a tough loss at the end to the Mohawks. It was a 4-4 game going into the bottom of the 8th. The Outlaws got on the board early. Jack Clark with a solo home run, the first team home run of 2025. So congrats to the High Point product for that. But then the rest of the way, it was kind of a back-and-forth game. Went scoreless for a couple innings as Zach Rowe, taking player of the game last night, put together a heck of a start for Oneonta. 4 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, both were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 7 and threw 69 pitches. So Rowe was certainly dealing last night. And then it was the bullpen that certainly fared not quite as well. Logan Marquez, pretty solid, inning and a third, gave up a run, earned run, walking 2, striking out 1. And the one big thing you got to remember about that game last night, the strike zone really shrunk when Logan Marquez came into the game, which isn't something that you see too much. I mean, it was kind of all over the place, left side, right side, and Marquez was constantly getting frustrated about where his pitches were missing. And that only continued when David Denton, who took the loss last night, came in, Jacob Turner, and then ultimately Braden Ferris as well, as those guys having a tough time combining for outs, giving up the final 11 runs of the ball game last night. Again, it was a 4-4 game going to the bottom of the 8th, so even though Amsterdam put up that 10 spot, ended in a mercy run rule, this Outlaw team hung with the best of the best. Amsterdam, the only undefeated team left in the East, as Niagara Falls, the Americans, that is the new team, the Iron Bats in the Canadian Western Division, whatever you want to say as well. They're over there, but the Americans still undefeated as they've started the season 6-0, haven't gotten as many of their games in. Kind of struggled with the rain, just as many of the teams in the East have, including this Outlaw team who played the second fewest amount of games at just 5, and they're now 1-4. Saugerties on the other side, let's talk about them quickly here before we go to our head coach interview with Keaton Mark from earlier today. They're now 3-4. They've lost 3 games for the first time since 2022, and we'll give you a snapshot at all the stats when we come back. But as we get ready for the anthem, here is head coach Keaton Mark from earlier this afternoon. Colby Smith back here once again with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark. Coach, tough loss on the road last night up at Amsterdam. What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, we played with them the whole way. The scoreboard doesn't really dictate how the game went, but really just searching. We left a lot of runners on base, a couple bases loaded, a couple other times. Really just searching for a big hit here and there, and we'll be all right. Pitchers did a hell of a job. Obviously, it fell apart in the later inning there, but up until then, it was a great game.
Well, and speaking of pitching, Zach Rowe, first start last night. How impressive was his outing from a coach standpoint?
It was extremely impressive, and correct me if I'm wrong, starting off with 5 strikeouts or whatever he had. I mean, yeah, he just came off, started throwing strikes from the jump. He had a good 3-pitch mix. He was locating everything. You can't ask for much more than that.
Well, and since you all have had the opportunity to be off here for a couple of days unplanned, pitching standpoint, I mean, what's just kind of the mindset with what you went to last night and, moving forward here these next couple?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's had rest, so everybody got a bullpen in, everybody's hot. Just trying to allocate our guys as best as possible behind our starters. We got Logan going tonight, Logan Scholl from Marist. We haven't seen him yet, but he should be pretty good. And then we have a handful of guys that can go behind him tonight, so we're going to see what works against Saugerties.
Well, and how tough is it to get everybody back in there, try to delicate up those innings so nobody's going too much after being off?
Yeah, it's not that hard. Obviously some of these guys have thrown more than other guys. Like we know Zach threw 42 innings at Oneonta. He's used to this. He's used to going long. Some of these guys are still rehabbing and stuff, so you just got to make sure we be careful with the pitch counts and which guys are throwing how many innings, stuff like that. It's not anything too crazy.
Well, now I want to go back to what you said before about the timely hits. How frustrating is it to just get in those situations where you're leaving all those runners on and not getting that big hit?
It is very frustrating. Obviously, it's frustrating for the guys too. Obviously, they're not trying to not get the hit, so they want to do it too. But I mean, that's just part of baseball. I mean, it's something we struggle with. The school ball is something we struggle with all around. It's just those clutch hits. I mean, it can literally single, double, change the whole game right there. So I mean, going forward, I think we'll click, and once we finally click, it'll be really good for us.
Well, and how big do you think it's going to be moving forward to have all these games rescheduled and just kind of get in more of a rhythm?
I think it'll be good, like you said, to get into a groove. Obviously, having those 5 days off felt really unnatural, especially at the beginning of the season. It's one thing that happens halfway through. It might be a nice reset, but having it right there at the beginning really kind of threw things off a little bit. But I think we'll get back into a groove and be all right.
Well, and you go down to Saugerties, place you played already. Another one, scoreboard doesn't really dictate how that one went. What are you looking forward to, and what are you looking for tonight?
Yeah, it was another one where we played great up until the 7th inning. We try to preach to the guys, play all 9. Obviously, it can fall apart whenever, or it can turn for the best for us whenever. So we go out there and play all 9 tonight, and just stick to the plan, throw strikes, play clean defense, and find 1 or 2 of those clutch hits. I think we'll be good.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Cole.
So a huge thank you to head coach Keaton Mark for taking the time to stop by and talk about that launch yesterday at Amsterdam, as well as the pitching plan. That was huge to kind of get a feel for what to expect moving forward here over the next couple of days. Logan Schul's going to get the ball tonight for the Outlaws. It'll be his first start. The Marist product wrapping up his freshman year. And when he comes to the mound in the bottom half of the first inning, we'll talk about all his numbers. But first, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup. Leading things off, center field, it's going to be Kazu Hara returning to the lineup. First time since last Thursday. Not that there's been much baseball to be played in the meantime. Jet Clark, right fielder, going to hit second after his home run yesterday up at Shuttleworth. Zach Porter remains in the 3 spot for the second consecutive game, and today is the EH. His coach Keaton Mark opting to bat 10 for the first time this summer. Jameson Balick going to be the DH in the cleanup spot. Connor Wading returning to the lineup yet again. He'll be his second time playing here at Saugerties this summer after not playing in a game here last year. Zach Rowe going to be in left field tonight after the starting pitching job yesterday. Nathan Bones is behind the plate. Hugo Cohnhorst is going to be down in the 8th spot at third. Thomas Woodridge going to man second base tonight. And rounding out the starting 10, Zach Robinson going to be at short with Logan Schul, of course, doing the pitching as we mentioned. On the side of Saugerties, they're going to counter with Ryan Franklin tonight, the lefty pitcher, 6'2", 200 pounds. Just concluded his junior year at Weber International. He spent time now at 3 different colleges over the course of his 3 years. Started at Flagler, which was Division II. Then he went to Seminole State, also Division II, before going to Weber International, which is NAIA, and also where Stallions head coach Colin Martin coaches. Kaz Uhara is going to walk to the plate, and we're going to get underway right on time here at Cantine Field tonight. Actually had the opportunity to talk a little bit to Franklin before the game today, which is rare. You never get to talk to the opposing team starter. As Uhara taking strike one right down the gut, and we're underway. Uhara 0 for 4 with a walk, 3 Ks, and a hit by pitch last Thursday as he hits a slow roller, third base side. Z, the shortstop, deposit it into the glove of Comiskey cross diamond, as that'll be a 6-3, and Uhara sent down for the first out tonight. Good swing by Uhara to catch a barrel on that one. Just drove it straight into the ground, took a bad hop, and, of course, Z, who's got a great glove there at shortstop, able to get to it no problem. Jamie Z actually making his Stallions debut tonight. High school product from New Jersey, committed to go to Notre Dame this fall, is Jack Clark going to take a called strike one, and he falls behind in the count. Jack Clark, 1 for 3, 2 runs, had a ribby, couple of walks, and a strikeout yesterday. He was really feeling it last night up in Amsterdam as the 0-1 caught it off the end of the bat. That'll be a foul tip, and the count quickly going to 0-2. Clark has appeared in 3 games this summer for the Outlaws, only 2 of which count for the stats, as he absolutely tore it up in the home opening exhibition against Auburn. 4 bags that night, but in the 2 that have counted, he's also had 4 stolen bags. He's been electrifying this team on the base paths in the early goings. Franklin, his 0-2. And Clark going to shoot it off, first base line foul. And so we'll try it again. Outlaws got the dugout on the first base line. Their bullpen's in right. Stallions, home dugouts on the third base line, and their bullpen in left. Outlaws tonight opting to go in the all grays. Got the gray tops with the orange numbers, orange letters, black shoulders, and the gray pants. As Clark looked like he wanted to go for that one, but it just missed, and so it'll go to 1-2. Stallions opting to go for their home whites tonight. Got the yellow numbers, black trim, white pants. As Clark into the ground, left side. Croce cross the diamond in time. As Comiskey having a nice stretch to get him. So that'll be a 5-3. And the Outlaws, once again, having a hard time getting the ball out of the infield, something that's been a struggle. Not only is been putting a ball in play in general been a struggle, but when they're putting balls in play, getting balls that have been hard hit, barreled up, really been an issue for this team so far. But again, talking about it with not only Dan Payton, but Keaton Mark, as you heard about in pregame, it's been hard for this team to get into a rhythm. Not like they've played much baseball. I mean, you play that opening Thursday at Amsterdam. You have the postponed Friday at Utica game. You're off Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then you turn around, play a couple in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and last night was the first baseball that the team had played in 6 days. So certainly been a very odd start to the summer as Zach Porter in the 3 spot, already down 0-2 in the count. Here's the pitch, missing high and upstairs, 1-2. Saugerties on their side of things, they've played in 7 games, haven't had too many postponements, just 3 so far, which, I mean, 3 is still something. As this one looked like it was going to be fair, but curve foul last second. So we'll have to do it again. One of their postponements was at home, then had 2 postponements up at Glens Falls as well, as they're going to have to make those up later on. A lot of postponed games on the east side. And you hope for some of these teams, most notably your Outlaws, of course, that they turn in to be a blessing later on, as Porter not going to offer it that one in the dirt, and it'll run to 2-2. Once you get into a rhythm, hopefully things start to click. You're firing on all cylinders, and those games when you're making them up with double headers, they are only 7-inning games. So you play 14 innings as opposed to 9 innings here just about every day. It's the 2-2. Going to miss again upstairs, and the count runs full on Porter. He was down 1-2 in the count, has worked it back to full, and now we'll see what Franklin's got in the tank. His lifetime high on his fastball is 91 as his payoff misses outside low. And Zach Porter will be the first base runner of the ball game. So Porter getting the benefit of the doubt on that call. It's his third walk he's taken already, just his fifth game. And here now going to be Jameson Bonlick, who was just named first-team All-American in JUCO after leading the nation in batting average. That announcement coming out earlier this morning. Checking his swing on the first one, and they say he offered, so it'll be 0-1. He was 1 for 4 with a strikeout last night up at Amsterdam. Was his first hit as an Oneonta Outlaws. His batting average here to start, as that's a nice curveball from Franklin, making it 0-2. Just 100 as he's gone 1 for 10. Also has an RBI, 3 walks, 3 Ks to his name. Franklin keeping a close eye on Speedy Porter. Porter did snag 7 bags Wofford this spring as that comes off the plate, and the count running to 1-2. Balick, you can't emphasize it enough how good he was for Hudson Valley this spring, hitting .524. Was an everyday guy for the Vikings right from the get-go. As Porter still a hefty lead, 1-2, and a nice back pit there by Sanchez behind the plate as it runs to 2-2. Sanchez is behind the plate, first to third on the infield. They got Comiskey, Cavazzoni at second, Z's at short, Croce's at third. Left to right in the outfield, Ford, Rodriguez, and then Hobbins Siefkins out and right here at Cantine down in Saugerties. 2-2. And that, Balick not going to offer as it runs full. So back-to-back full counts that Ryan Franklin's worked into here in this first inning as his pitch count's starting to climb already. Balick again looking at first, the payoff. And that one pelted on the ground, charging Croce high but in time, right to Comiskey for another 5-3. Outlaws put 3 balls in play, all to the ground, and they strand Porter at first here in the top half of the inning. Stallions come to bat for the first time here in their home confines, and we got ourselves an 0-0 ball game. Bottom half of the first here from Cantine Field and Saugerties. Logan Schul is finishing up his warm-up tosses as he prepares for his first appearance on the bump of the summer. Schul stands 5'11", 185. He's from Garnerville, New York, and just wrapped up his freshman season at Marist College. His numbers on the spring, 16 appearances. He made 1 start. His ERA very inflated at 11.52, had a couple of bad outings, and we'll talk more about those as we roll throughout the start. But 3-3 was his record. 1 save through his 25 innings of work. 35 hits, 37 runs. Surrendered 32 of those is earned. Walking 16, striking out 21. And the big area where he struggled was not only the wild pitches, as he had 8 of those, but offering up extra base hits as he surrendered 10 doubles and 4 homers. And Marist, they do play at a pretty shallow ballpark. I mean, they played a few of their home games where the Hudson Valley Renegades play. They're a Class A affiliate of the New York Yankees, but most of their home games played right on campus, and they got a short fence to both left center and right center, I've been told. Here's Luis Rodriguez, and he fouls the first one straight on back. Here we go. Schul getting a first strike, starting off his Outlaw tenure. He's wearing 30 out there on the bump, number that was worn last year by Ethan Glossa, who actually went on to play for Keaton Market, John Carroll. Glossa tore the cover off the ball throughout his time here. Needed a school after finishing at Herkimer, as this one shot on off foul past the Outlaw bullpen in right field, so it's an 0-2 count quickly. But again, as I was saying, Ethan Glossa then went to John Carroll this spring, hit 400 for most of the season, kind of leveled off a little bit in the end, but ended up being first team all-conference and helped the Blue Straits get back to the postseason for the first time in a couple of years on their brand new turf field. So that was certainly huge and great not only for him, but for Coach Keaton and the entirety of John Carroll U. Schul shaking off Nathan Bowes, now the 0-2, and that one misses in. And it looks like it clipped him on the left hand. So Rodriguez having that one graze over his fingertips. He rolls to first, and the Stallions got a leadoff base runner. So Schul just barely missing the intended target as Bowes was kind of set up in, hoping maybe they could get him around on a half swing, strike him out there. But instead, base runner on first. Now you're looking for a ground ball, and a guy in Travis Hobbins-Siefkin who hasn't put too many on the ground to start the year. Hobbins-Siefkin's been pretty dang good. Last night, though, 0 for 3 was his first hitless game of the summer as he takes strike one. Hobbins-Siefkin played here in Saugerties 2 seasons ago. Last year took the summer off from summer baseball and now opting to return this summer to a loaded cast of stars as the Stallions hoping that the pieces they have here are good enough to give them a push for another title as they last won in 2021. The last team actually not named the Amsterdam Mohawks to take a championship here in the PGCBL. Count to 1-1 here on Hobbins-Siefkin. Hobbins-Siefkin did have a couple of hits the last time the Outlaws were here. Finished 2 for 5 as that was back on June 1st, just the second game of the summer for the Outlaws. Rodriguez is on the run. Is this one on the ground right to short, charging on the run. Robinson right to waiting, and they get the out. So Hobbins-Siefkin to sacrifice out, puts himself down on the 6-3. They do advance Luis Rodriguez over to second. He was on the run from the get-go, and if that ball hadn't been put in play, it looked like with the jump that he got, would have had second. But no matter what, he's in scoring position, and now it's Nick Croce, the third baseman from Pine Bush, New York. He helped the AAA Indians to a 31-22 finish this spring, was their best in 3 years. Only hit .228, but was kind of irregular for much of the spring. As half swing, Schul on the ground, runs over, underhands it to waiting, and they get the out there. 1-3, Croce. Nice little square up half bunt, advances Rodriguez to third, and now the Stallions no outs to work with for Justin Ford. Justin Ford, a guy who's returning to Saugerties here for another summer after an electric year last year. Ford is leading the team in average to this point yet again, hitting .440 on the summer and 25 ABs, 11 for 25, 3 doubles, 7 RBIs, has 7 watts, 6 Ks, 5 bads, starting things off here as he takes ball one, with Bowes about diving across the plate to keep that one in front of him. Bowes working with Logan Schul for the first time. When Logan first got to town, Bowes was his catcher of choice for who he worked with first, as that one again missing low, and the count to 2-0. That's the one thing that the Outlaws have been so fortunate in terms of the catching standpoint. 3 Division I catchers on the roster. You got Nathan Bowes, who's behind the dish from Sacred Heart. You got Zach Porter from Wofford, who's in the lineup as the extra hitter. And you also got Ian Wirtz, who was just added earlier this week from Lehigh University. So catchers certainly plentiful and certainly a strong point for the Outlaws on the infield to this point. All of them always wanting to get in there, put the work in with the pitchers, always catching 2 or 3 of them at the clubhouse as Bo's diving across the plate. Kept that one in front of him, preventing a run as Ford draws the walk, and it'll be runners at the corners here for Saugerties with 2 away here, bottom 1. Jamie Z going to take his first at bat for Saugerties and primo spot. Don't want to leave runners on base here to begin with. Left 8 on last night against Glens Falls. Stallions first loss to Glens Falls since July of 2023. 2-1 was the final score, and Glens Falls is certainly off to a pretty good start, no matter, again, what the numbers might say. 3-5, their best start here in a little while. As Z checking his swing. And he gets ball 1. As they say, he didn't come around far enough. Z standing 5'10", 165 in the box. Wearing the bright black number 10 here for Saugerties. 1-0. And Z got underneath that one a little too soon as it runs to 1-1. And he's certainly going to try to change up his approach a little bit and looking at both his base coaches. Saugerties still have a handful of guys who've yet to get into town as we're about to the midway part of junior. But a lot of baseball is still to be played. It's a 46-game summer, so it's a marathon, not a sprint. On the run goes forward. Is this one the hit and run play on a bounce? Robinson turns it over to Waiting in time for the out. So another 6-3 ground out here at this bottom of the first inning. And Saugerties is going to leave 2 on the base pass. We go to top 2 here at Cantine. All zeros on the board. Top of the second inning here at Cantine Field. Ryan Franklin, the southpaw, back ready to go. And he's going to see 5, 6, 7 in the Outlaws order as this squad looks to put up some early runs. They've scored first in 3 of the first 5 games, but hoping that they can get themselves a bigger lead. That Utica game, kind of the outlier in terms of offense. Had 1 run last time here at Saugerties, 5 opening night in Amsterdam. Had the 7 spot against Mohawk Valley, but a lot of those runs coming late as Waiting swings right through one, and he's down 0-1. But it just seems like runs have been hard to come by. This team's been missing the timely hits as all these guys that you've been hearing about pregame, both the coaches been saying, is Waiting, taking a miss upstairs, and it runs to 1-1. Just a matter of putting the balls in play. When you have runners in scoring position, Outlaws have left more than 10 on in 4 of the first 5. Is that one bouncing off the plate, and it goes to 2-1. So a lot of missed opportunities for this team, and that certainly is going to hurt moving forward. If you get towards the end of the summer and you're looking and thinking, man, we only needed to win 1, 2, 3 more for a better spot in the standings, is Waiting taking another miss 3-1. But still plenty early to talk about that. Again, 46 games, not a sprint, but it's a marathon. And the season doesn't end until July 29th, so plenty to play. Until then, is Waiting, taking another miss. Ball 4 as he'll fire the bat away and be a leadoff base runner. Waiting still is yet to register a hit this summer, as he's kind of been struggling with his timing and adjustments and transitioning back to the ball field after pulling a disc in his back earlier this spring. But he has been finding ways to get on base. That's already the 5th walk he's taken. He's taken 3 hit by pitches as well, so certainly contributing in any way he can, despite no hits to show for it. Zach Rowe taking a called strike 1 as he came around showing bunt. Got to think that Waiting is going to be on the move here. Seems like the Outlaws, with no outs on the board, loving to try that bunt play to move a runner in scoring position this summer as Rowe shoots one straight back, and it drops to 0-2. Zach Rowe, 500 average, 4 games, 2 starts, just 3 for 6 combined though. Hasn't seen some live pitching since last Wednesday against Utica. 2 for 4 at home with an RBI single in the 7th inning. Also drew a walk early on in that one. As Rowe looking over, making sure Waiting doesn't go. Count to 1-2. And that's another thing you got to look at with this Outlaw team that's kind of different from a season ago. The communication level's really up. You got the guys always talking, always making in-game adjustments. They just love talking baseball, love to be here and just want to go back to their schools bigger and better. Got a lot of guys on this roster as well. Was talking about it with Dan Payton a little bit off the record earlier, but a lot of guys that are in the portal right now looking for new spots. So this summer could mean something to them when it all comes down to it. Coaches are going to look back, despite it being a wood bat league, and say, you know, what'd you do this summer? What can you contribute to my program? Here's the 2-2. Row right through it, and he's sent down for the first Ryan Franklin K of the day. So a nice reach there by Rowe to try to barrel that one up, but just can't bomb it the way he wanted. And here we go, Nathan Bowes trying to put one in play, but nothing on the ground. Outlaws have grounded in a handful of double plays already. 6 on the summer, if I'm not mistaken. But the infield has also turned quite a few, including one last night up in Amsterdam. Is Waiting, long lead off first, and Bo going to foul one straight back as he'll trail 0-1. Bo's 3 games, 300s his average, 3 for 10, has a double, couple of runs scored, also 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. Last night was his first hitless game. He's 0 for 3, walking a strikeout on his line at Amsterdam yesterday. 0-1. Good drop there from Franklin as it'll run to 0-2. Franklin trying to work on all 5 of his pitches here tonight. Talking to him before the game. 4-seam, 2-seam, curve, change, and slider is what he's got in the mitts. Regularly sitting at 87-88 after coming back from Tommy John as that one's sailing high and away. And the count going 1-2. He actually got some increased velo after the injuries that he had dealt with. Was saying that when he had a foot injury last year, he was throwing on his knees regularly, just trying to keep his arm fresh. Came back and it was kind of something that Craig Kimbrell did, helped his velo climb. And Franklin didn't get nearly as much velo as Kimbrell did, almost a 10-mile-an-hour jump, but got 3-4 miles per hour as the increase on his fastball. So you'll take what you can get, and that's been huge for him. As the count to 2-2 with 1 away. Again, top second here in Saugerties. It's an 0-0 game. Second of 8 this summer against these Stallions. Bowes out into left field. This one going to drop in front of Ford. Chugging around second. Waiting pumps the brakes there. And that one getting in quick as the Outlaws going to have first and second with 1 out. So that's a huge one for Bowes to blast that one into left. First ball that's left the infield in this game. And now we'll go to Hugo Conhorst, who's trying to settle himself into a rhythm. Conhorst just 1 hit on the summer so far, which came at Mohawk Valley last Thursday. That was the heartbreaking 8-7, 10-inning loss. It's this one in the center field. Coming around third. Send signs on here for Waiting. We might get a play at the plate. He slides in head first, and the Outlaws going to get on the board here early as they take the 1-0 jump. Hugo Conors with an RBI single that gets Oneonta on the board. Love to see that. Hardest hit ball we've seen from Hugo starting the summer. Bose did stop at second. He was watching, making sure he wasn't being told to go to third. Would have got another runner 90 feet away, but regardless, you'll take what you can get. Got the lead, and now Thomas Woodridge going to come up in a spot, and he's been putting a lot of pressure on himself, working on his adjustments lately in the cages. Hoping to contribute to this team as he blasts the first pitch out into the left center gap. It's shallow and caught by Z. So there's a little easy can of corn. P6 retires Woodridge. Nice to see the aggression coming out swinging early in the count. But he goes down 2 away, and it's Zach Robinson, who's the last outlaw to come to the plate here in the starting 10. Robinson 1 for 4 with a double in his only game of the summer thus far. That was actually here at Saugerties back on June 1st. So been 11 days since he saw live pitching in game. That one sails high and away as Robinson working ahead 1-0. Robinson, another guy who's really been working on things in the cage, trying to tweak his adjustments and demand an opportunity to get some more time on the field here. Matt Carrera, Brendan Connolly have been the Cena's go-to middle infield, starting things off here as Bo's dancing lead off second, forcing Franklin to try the pickoff play. Saugerties does do a nice job holding base runners on. Saw that the first time we were here. Again, that was a 10-1 final. It was a 2-1 ball game most of the way, but the Stallions broke it open in the 7th and 8th, took the victory that night. So the Outlaws hoping for the better end, hoping to snap the streak this time around, having lost 2 straight. As there's a strike, and the count going to 1-1. There's 8 total on the schedule between these two this summer. Last summer only played 3 of the 5 that were scheduled due to rain. 4 of these games right here at Cantine Field, including Outlaws' next game, which will be right back here Saturday following the off day tomorrow, is the 1-1. Robinson flared out that elbow and takes strike 2. And now Franklin just 1 strike away from ending this threat. Outlaws 2 trips in 3 days to Saugerties, off on Sunday as well for our 2nd annual golf outing. As both base runners went, but Robinson swinging right through the high heater to be retired. So 2 strikeouts in the half inning by Ryan Franklin, but an RBI single from Hugo Conors gets Oneonta on the board. We go to the bottom of the 2nd here in Saugerties, New York. Outlaws, a 1-0 lead. Back here to Saugerties on Outlaws YouTube. Colby Smith here with you. Saugerties going to try to answer after the Outlaws plate one, top half of the inning on an RBI single to left center by Hugo Konorst if you missed it. Comiskey going to take one in high from Schul for ball one. Logan Schul in that first inning looked like he was really commanding the zone well, really finding his spots, and that's something that the Outlaws need. Need some starting pitchers who can come in here with some authority, get some innings. As the one thing that I was talking about with Outlaws owner Gary Lane today, you need a couple of pitchers on this team who can really step up and say, I want those starting innings. Yeah, you got Zach Rowe, who was a starter at SUNY Oneonta. Yeah, you got Pat Dangler, who can certainly hurl the ball. You got a couple other guys like a Martin Thorsland and Evan Starobo. Didn't start as much as you would have thought as their respective schools, but can also do the job. But you really need some depth. As this one right to Woodridge, hands it up over to Waiting. High but in time to get the out. And so there's a 4-3, and Comiskey's retired for the first out here, bottom two. Logan Sanchez, the catcher, going to be next up here for the Stallions. He's been trading time behind the dish with the big tall Sammy Blanco starting off this summer. Sanchez in 3 games, he's had just 1 hit, couple of RBIs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts as he has been having a tough time just in terms of luck to start things off here as he fouls one off for strike 1. Stallions on this losing streak have lost to Boonville, Amsterdam, and Glens Falls. Started up there against the Lumberjacks with an 8-4 setback. Lost here Sunday 15-9 to the Mohawks before yesterday. Really good ball game that ended in the end on Glens Falls' side by a 2-1 score. This squad last summer only lost 4 games here all season at Cantine Field, finishing 20-4 here. 2 losses to Amsterdam, 1 to Albany, 1 to Utica. As here's the 1-1. And that in a lefty batter's box, running a 2-1. So Saugerties certainly, this is not the start to the summer that they drew up record-wise, numbers-wise. Is Schul kicking the 2-1. And this one on the ground to Woodridge again, turns towards Waiting, flips it off easy for another 4-3, back-to-back 4-3s to get us quickly down to the 8th spot in the Saugerties lineup. And speaking of sharing time behind the plate, now it's Sammy Blanco who's coming up here for Saugerties. He's got a 158 average, 6 games. 3 for 19, 3 runs scored, has 2 RBIs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, and 2 stolen bags. As 6'3" Texas product certainly knows how to command the base pass when he gets the opportunity to fly. Saugerties last summer finished 3rd in the division in stolen bases. Always trying to grab those extra bags where they can get them. As here's the 1-0. Another nice pitch by Bose as it runs 2-0 quickly on Blanco. Following Blanco to round out the starting 9 for Colin Martin is Gabe Cavazzoni playing second, who was the only player in the Saugerties lineup to finish with multiple hits yesterday. 2-0 in the dirt again for Schul, 3-0. And even when he's fallen behind here on hitters, he's kind of throwing meatballs in the zone, pitches it a little off, try to get some swings on him, and that's where he's getting these ground balls. All 5 of his outs so far have come on the ground. Just barely low off the plate, ball 4, and he issues up his 2nd free pass already. Blanco's on base, keeping the inning going, and Cavazzoni will get a chance to swing the stick here with 2 gone. Cavazzoni here in front of this Cantine crowd. All but 2 of his hits have come here. 5 hits in total, 23 ABs, has a run, 4 RBIs, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts as the Stallions team. Many guys already climbing up there in the strikeouts as this one getting away from Bose on the wild pitch. Does advance Sammy Blanco over to second, and the count's going to run 1-0 here early.
That's one thing that this Outlaw staff has got to be better about, keeping the ball around the zone, knowing that if you're going to spike one, even kind of giving that heads up to your catcher, as Bose had to spring up out of his crouch, go chasing that one backwards. Schul going to have to step off. Is Sammy Blanco not being held too tight to the bat by Woodridge. Woodridge is signed here as part of the Wofford cast 2 years in a row. The Laws have been fortunate enough to get a couple of players from South Carolina. As Cavazzoni, big swing, can't bomb it, and it runs to 1-1. Last summer was talking about it with Mason and Jack, the two Wofford products on the Saugerties side. We had Lucas Grantham, Colin Condon, Tanner Harden, and now this summer being fortunate enough to get a couple more talented Wofford products. Woodbridge, Uhura, Porter, all doing jobs here. This one, towering fly ball in the shallow center, chasing this one back. Uhura comes in for it and pulls it down out of the sun for the out, and that is going to end things here in the bottom half of the second. Saugerties strands Sammy Blanco. Into the third we go here on Outlaws YouTube. Your score, still in 1-0 Oneonta.
Earned 5 walks to 6 Ks. And in the box, it's going to be Jack Clark playing center field today from High Point University. That ball driven into left field. Long going back at the wall. Out of here! And what a start for the Outlaws. Jack Clark leaves the left field wall. It's a 1-0 lead for Oneonta.
This is a 90-mile-per-hour first pitch.
Saugerties is going to make a pitching change as we welcome you back here to Cantine for top 3. Ryan Franklin, his line closed, 2 innings. The Weber Jr., 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 2 Ks, 2 watts. And they go to Montreal Christian Jr. as it looks like it's going to be a bullpen night for the Stallions the rest of the way. His ERA is 3. He's appeared in 3 innings, 2 games, 2 hits, 2 runs. Has surrendered just 1 earned run, couple of watts and couple of Ks here on his line. Is Uhura flaring the bat around, taking strike 1. We are back to the top of the Outlaw lineup already. 6-3 did Uhura ground out in the first inning. Here's the 0-1, and that one just above the plate. Count running a 1-1. Christian Jr., one of his big things this summer, really looking to pitches a bit more, hoping to find himself into a groove as he already wants a mound visit from Sanchez, which sometimes you can't really complain about that, hoping that you can really get yourselves on the same page and not let these two have worked together too much It was Blanco who was behind the plate for each of his first 2 appearances. As the rising sophomore from Georgia State in a 1-1 count here against Uhara. Christian Jr., big righty, 6'3", 259 out there from Atlanta. As he kicks with his 1-1, and Uhara taking one low and away off the plate. Count running to 2-1. He did redshirt this spring at Georgia State, which is actually where I mentioned Lucas Grantham, who played for the Outlaws last summer. The Wofford product is going next year. Just opted to transfer, and heard a little bit about it from Mason and Jack pregame, but he had just earned the starting catching role at Wofford this spring, then suffered a broken hand injury and saw his season come to a close. So hopefully next year he can go to Georgia State, get the at-bats, get the opportunities he wants, injury-free. Grantham certainly a stellar ball player, but an even better guy off the field. Was well-liked by all of the 2024 Outlaws last summer. As here's the 2-2. Uhara caught it off the end of the bat and stays alive. So we'll try it again. It was Grantham, Harden, and Cullen Condon who certainly carried the Outlaws on their backs for much of June last summer. Those 3 guys single-handedly helping this team win some ball games in June. Then things kind of fell off the rails month of July. Outlaws only won 2 games when the calendars flipped last year. Saw their season end against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, who really had their number. As the count going full here on Uhara. Outlaws haven't won against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs in a couple of years, on a streak of losing or tying in 14 consecutive games against the Diamond Dogs, hoping to snap that streak. Against Mohawk Valley are coming up next week, as this one, rip foul up the line. Uhara, a hard hit ball, just can't keep it fair. So Uhara now seen 7 and hanging alive here in this AB. Outlaws got some early action in the bullpen in right. Logan Schul wasn't expected to go too deep tonight. Maybe we'll see him do one more inning. His season-long outing, Maris this spring, was only 2 2/3 innings, and his pitch high limit was 53 against Niagara in March. Uhara, another foul ball, as this one ripped past the fans near the quickly setting sun in left field. It was nice to have some sun here today, kind of shining over the Cantine Field. It was cloudy on our bus ride. Got a little nervous, was talking to Jack Clark and Jace Kohler, hoping that the rain would stay away because there was a slight chance of it today. And it has, at least to this point, chance in the forecast later tonight. But Saugerties, great field crew here. Their field's going to be just fine. They're on the road tomorrow anyway. They go to Utica tomorrow, so they got a tough little weekend here. Outlaws, 2 games in a row at home with a road trip to the newly turfed Donovan Stadium Marine Field in there. Looks absolutely gorgeous up there. Saw some videos from Utica's Kids Day out against Boonville the other morning. Was on Tuesday. Boonville actually getting a victory and sent some Utica fans home sad. 5-3 was that final. As the payoff, Uhara didn't get around on it clean enough. Croceon over a good stretch, getting the out is Comiskey, as there's a 5-3, but another lengthy AB for this Oneonta squad. As that's been key for this offense here early on as well, really making pitchers throw and work around the zone. It's a guy who worked a long AB deep in the game last night in the 7th inning with the Outlaws needing some runs, climbed back in there up at Shuttleworth. Jack Clark worked a 10-pitch at bat that ended in a walk, ended up coming around to score. As 3 more walks would come in the half inning as Amsterdam, even though they are 9-0 and have tied their program best start from 2023, they've really kind of struggled to find the zone at times. The offense hasn't put up as many runs as they would have liked. They have only won 3 of those games by just a single run. 2 of them have been walk-offs. As here's the 1-0 from Christian Jr. Clark, hard hit ball, shot Outlaw bullpen in right as it goes to 1-1. Amsterdam, you saw it here at Saugerties. Stallions getting a jump on them early and kind of making them pay, but Amsterdam rallying back the rest of the way. Got some late runs to grab that victory. Outlaws, of course, 2 close games. 8-5 up there at Amsterdam opening night, and then last night a 4-4 game going to bottom 8. Clark taking one downstairs and away, and a count running a 2-1. Clark has been really impressive to listen to in the dugout to this point for this team. He's always coming in and talking about adjustments that different guys can make, what he's seeing out there from pitchers on the hill, and really thinks the game at a super high level. And you would think a Division I guy can certainly do that, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk quite the way Jack Clark does. He just loves this game, loves everything about it, and he's always trying to see things out and help everybody around him. He's a Jesuit high school product from Tampa. Wanted to stay down south for college ball, so High Point was the place he settled on. Certainly done wonders for him so far. He was a big part of this team this spring at High Point, as that one just barely up the line. Foul ground. It clipped the chalk line before it got to the bag, so Clark in a full count here. Back-to-back full counts by Montreal Christian Jr., greeting him out of the bullpen here with a heavy workload. Clark will settle himself back in the box here. Big wide open stance. On deck waiting is Zach Porter to come up next as the payoff. And Clark some good fight as he fouls it off. Take a slider there from Christian Jr. Clark did ground out 5-3 on one to Croce that he had to charge back in that first inning. Looks like Christian Jr. is opting for a new ball here. Not necessarily a bad decision either. Don't want to use a baseball you're not comfortable with. Outlaws do have 2 hits on the board already. Both are singles. Came back-to-back batters, Bose and Conors, in that second to score the run. Here's a second go at the payoff. Clark blasting ball up the middle, going to roll into center. He takes the turnaround first, and he's got himself his first hit of the game. Keeps his hit streak going. So Jack Clark now on a 3-game hit streak here for the Outlaws. He'll stand at first with one away. And we'll go to Zach Porter, who's going to be looking to do some damage. Outlaws, one thing that was pretty interesting yesterday up at Shuttleworth, very rarely do you see all 3 catchers on the roster here in the PGCBL used. Well, it's exactly what happened last night. Had Ian Wirtz behind the plate. Bose played left field. And Zach Porter did the DHing duties up at Shuttleworth. As Porter taking one a high ball 1. And it certainly did the job for this team. Zach Porter getting on base 3 times yesterday. Fielder's choice, walking a single. Bose walked once and then was 0 for 3 the rest of the ball game. And Ian Wirtz, 2 key walks, also reached on a fielder's choice as well. So at least being productive how they could against very tough arms for Amsterdam. At least that through most of the game. Got a couple of Rhode Island guys yesterday. Virginia Tech, can't remember who else, but Amsterdam going through 5 arms in that ball game last night. Again, it was a 14-4 final. Mercy run rule, 8-inning loss for the Outlaws. Clark's on the run, trying to grab another bat. Sanchez, the gun throw. It's high and not in time. There's bad number 5 of the season already for Mr. Jack Clark. Jack Clark, everybody was dazzled by it last night in the dugout, talking to a couple of the Outlaws. Could certainly fly, and he always manages to get a good jump. Loves to get the best read he can off opposing starting pitchers. Porter, a little frozen here before he comes back to the box. It's like he wanted to make sure Sanchez was all right. I don't know if got his hand twisted up a little bit in the turnover from hand to hand or what, but he settles back down in his crouch. Counts 2-1 with 1 away. Christian Jr., a little bit of motion as he's working out of the stretch position. High fly ball again out in a shallow left center. Drops in front. Z and Ford both were there at third. Jack Clark going to be nabbed out as Z putting one on a tee to Croce over there. So they get that one. 6-5 is going to be the put away as Clark, I think he wanted to make sure that ball didn't get caught and gets nabbed for it. Can't fault him too much for that. The send sign was on from Keaton Morgan trying to get him over there to erase that base runner at second. Single is going to be good, though, for Zach Porter, so he gets that for his first hit of the night. 7th hit already of the summer. And there's Baylett taking ball 1, getting ahead in the count. Lights do start to tick on here at Cantine and Saugerties. Again, the sun slowly starting to disappear behind the tree line. As Christian Jr. giving a close eye at first, and Baylett up the line, just foul. Baylett got a nice rip on that one, barreled it up square, but just couldn't keep it there as it goes even. Baylett, once again, a congratulations. His All-American nod was something that he had in the back of his mind that he was hoping he could accomplish this year, and he's certainly going to be in a good position moving forward. One more year at Hudson Valley. The individual studies majors got is Sanchez sliding over, keeping it in front, count running 2-1. And then if he has any kind of season like he did this next year for the Vites, every Division I, Division II program in the country probably going to want a piece of him. 2-1. Baylett watching another one sail low as it runs to 3-1. Baylett, big open stance in the box here. As Christian Jr. elevates another, there's ball 4. And the inning's going to keep going as it'll be 1st and 2nd for the Laws for Connor Wading. Sanchez once again going to go out and have a conversation with Christian Jr. Connor Wading. Watts scored a run in the 2nd inning, and still is he looking for his first hit of 2025. Waiting last summer for the Outlaws, putting together stellar campaign. His game is really to rate the ball to all fields when he's feeling it. 19 games for the Outlaws last year, finished with a .230 average, and he was the only Outlaw to sail one past left field that kept carrying last summer at Damasky Field. Had 2 home runs in total, as he had one on the road, but I think it was Boonville as well. 11 RBIs, 6 walks, and a strikeouts was where he really struggled. Had 26 punchies last summer. 1-0. Takes another elevated ball, and the count running to 2-0 here quickly. That was one thing Wading really talked about in making that jump to Division I baseball at Canisius, really needing to cut that K number down and, I don't know, just find some way to tighten up his approach. As here's the 2-0. Another elevated ball, ball 3. Christian Jr. all of a sudden looking all over the place. And if he watch Wading, the bases will be juiced here for the very dangerous Zach Rowe. Outlaws bullpen has gone quiet in right field after having an arm starting to warm. So you got to think Schul probably coming out for another inning as the 3-0 misses high, ball 4, and the bases are going to be full of Outlaws here in the 2nd. So huge for the Outlaws here in the early goings, and we are going to get a mound visit out of the dugout. Again, Porter will be at 3rd. Got Baylett at 2nd. Wading's at 1st, and Zach Rowe hopefully going to stay out of his head here and find a way to put a ball in play. Saugerties. This is probably not a spot they want to be in early. Logan Schul has looked pretty dang good, and know that the Outlaws do have some depth in that bullpen. A lot of rested arms after not having played in 6 days. I mean, yeah, did have to burn through a handful yesterday. Used not only Rowe, but Marquez, Denton, Turner, and Ferris as well. Turner probably could throw again tonight, but the other guys are out. Braden Ferris was actually supposed to be in the lineup tonight as well as Zach Rowe. Both guys pitching last night were supposed to turn around and at least hit tonight, as Ferris was scheduled to be the EH, but late scratch to the lineup, and Coach Keaton, Coach Joe having to rewrite things in the dugout just before game time, as Ferris not letting them know about the soreness he was dealing with till about an hour and a half before game time, as there's a low drop, and Rowe getting ahead 1-0. Rowe stayed in his intended spot in the lineup as this middle part did not change with the late switches. 1-0. And that one comes back in the zone for a called strike. Christian Jr. went to off speed there to get the call. Nathan Bowes, the Sacred Heart product, waiting on deck here for Oneonta. 1-1 pitch. Gonna come upper inside quadrant for a called strike 2. And now Christian Jr. desperately needing a strike to get himself out of this and keep just the one crooked number on the board here for Oneonta. Christian Jr. comes on ready from the stretch. The 1-2 misses off the plate. Count runs to 2-2. Zach Rowe did strike out swinging in the second inning against Ryan Franklin. And he was absolutely dealing, can't emphasize enough, player of the game yesterday, 4 2/3, put together a gem of a start at Amsterdam. As this one straight up the middle, charging over, Z flips it to second, and we get a collision there at the bag. As Connor waiting, getting caught on the arm, but luckily, looks like he's all right. So Christian Jr. getting himself out of a jam, getting a ground ball just the way he wanted. Again, that's going to be sits unassisted, is ultimately kept it in the glove himself, getting that. But that is going to do it here in this top half of the third inning. Outlaws straining a couple on the base paths. Into the bottom half we go. Still 1-0 is your score. Top of the lineup for Saugerties as we bring it back here to Cantine. 2 trips this week for the Outlaws down here to Saugerties, and what a beautiful bus ride it is despite being long. Took us about 2:10 to get here this afternoon. Left a little bit earlier than scheduled. We were supposed to take off 2:30, but everybody was ready. Everybody was geared up, got in the clubhouse, ready to go, and so we were on the road 2:15, 2:20, which was certainly nice. Get here a little early to Saugerties, the opportunity to hit BP, chill out for a little bit, stretch, throw the ladder, because sometimes when you cut it a little bit closer to game time, it throws off your routine, and that might be something that's affected this squad going to Amsterdam, taking BP at our park, and then trying to stroll up there. Got to take BP at Mohawk, and last time we came here to Saugerties, took BP here, no, we didn't take BP here, took it at our place, and then got here a little bit later than scheduled. So I don't know, maybe it's something that helps the Outlaws out to get into a park early, and can't complain if you're winning ball games that way. Schul again dropping one low, and Luis Rodriguez working at 2-0 in the count. Rodriguez Jr., another stellar season at Marist, one of a handful of Saugerties products that's in the transfer portal. Here's the 2-0. Good drop in there for a called strike. Runs to 2-1. Rodriguez did get hit by a pitch that drifted up. First AB of the game. Schul got ahead 0-2 and then came up, grazed his fingertips on the way by. 2-1. Another high one. 3-1 it goes. So Bo's remaining real sharp back there behind the plate. His defense is absolutely lights out. Got a massive shift set up as Robinson out 3/4 of the way over to third, left side of the infield. Woodbridge on a diagonal from second is Rodriguez drawing a leadoff walk. Second time he started off an inning as a leadoff base runner. So he'll fire the bat away, take the slow jog down, and we'll go to Travis Hobbins-Siefkin. Keaton March going to come out, and we'll see if we're getting an early pitching change here for the Outlaws. Again, you knew that Logan Schul, the leash wasn't going to be long tonight, and it looks like indeed Keaton Mark is going to take the ball from Schul. So Outlaws a call to the pen. We'll introduce you to the new arm. Laws leading 1-0 here, bottom third. Luis Rodriguez is at first when we come back. So Matt Carrera, as you see on the screen, accounting for one of two Outlaw birthdays on this Thursday, June the 12th, both of which are 21, both of which went to the same college, and both of which are here in the same summer team. So very ironic, very funny. Dan Payton, the other one, and we'll flash his graphic up after our net stoppage here because got to give equal love. Love these guys. Actually got to get Carrera back on the pregame show for the first time since last summer, and because Carrera is always a good talker, always has some good insight. Another one that sees the game really well, and another one that's looking for a spot for next year. But let's talk about the new arm for the Laws. Kyle Bartlett taking things over as this one blasted. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin in the center. Uhara charges and has it. And so a hard hit, out number one. Kez Uhara comes down with it. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin retired. And it'll be Nick Croce to waltz up next. Croce grounding out 1-3 his first time up, but let's get back to Bartlett. Came in relief of Mr. Martin Thorsland, who threw a great 4 innings against the Utica Blue Sox last Wednesday. Got the win, so he's got a 1-0 record, and his ERA is still chilling at 0 to this point in his 4 innings of work. Giving up just 3 hits, and he steps off. Looks over to first. Rodriguez, pretty short lead over there. Always a threat to run on the base pass. Whipped up 22 bags for the Marist Red Foxes this spring. And his speed is one thing that's certainly going to be huge for him in finding a new spot as Bartlett charges that one off the mound, flips it over to Waiting, and gets the out. So Croce, 2 swinging bunts in a row up here at the plate. Advances Luis Rodriguez over to second. So it moves another Stallion in a scoring position. They have already left 3 on, hoping to not make it 4 in a 1-0 game. This Ponies team still looking for their first hit of the ball game as well, and definitely not going to be easy if Kyle Bartlett stays in this game for a while. Very efficient arm. He only threw 5 innings for Hudson Valley this year, but in talking to those Viking players here for the Outlaws, big reason for that is just because their starters really 8 innings down the stretch. A lot of doubleheaders, only playing 7 innings. Their starters were regularly going 5-6 innings, so didn't leave too much work for the pen as Bo's not going to attempt the throw. Rodriguez gets a bag as he moves up 90 feet on a good jump. So again, Rodriguez getting a bag, which is huge. But now Justin Ford really needing a hit here. Ford did walk on 4 pitches back in the first inning. Barrels one up and squares it foul up the right field line as the count running to 1-1 here. Bartlett opening night at Amsterdam. His inning really showed a lot about him. Came in a really tough environment. Locked it down in that 5th with the Outlaws needing some innings, needing it to stay close, and did just that. I think it was 17 pitches he threw there in the opener at Shuttleworth. And even though I think 17 pitches is a little high, Amsterdam, I mean, it's the Mohawks. They work here for the long ABs as long as they can. Is on the half swing. Ford finds himself down 1-2, and Bartlett trying to mow him down 1-2-3 here coming in. Justin Ford yet to have a hitless game this summer for Saugerties. Here's the 1-2. Bombed in the center, right in front of Uhara. Rodriguez is in the score. That ties this thing up. It's 1 here in Saugerties. RBI single, Justin Ford knocks us up 1 apiece. And that is exactly what you didn't want to see if you're Kyle Bartlett. But you can't take it back. You tried to go fastball, breaking it high. And so knowing Kyle, he's certainly going to look back and be a little bit frustrated about that. But now we go down to Jamie Z as the attention flips. Z grounded out 6-3. On the run this time goes Justin Ford. This one sails away from Woodridge in the center. Uhara charging. He guns it through the corner. It's high but not in time. So that's 2 bads. Justin Ford advancing 180 feet. And now all of a sudden the Stallions, a runner just 90 feet away from giving them their first lead of the night. So Ford is going to get a stolen bag, and we'll await and talk to the Saugerties scorers here, making sure they're not going to award an error there. Z going to take another one high and away. Count running to 2-0. Jamie Z, team captain for each of these last 2 years at his high school down in NJ. So he puts one into the ground. Daisy Cutter to short. Robinson. The stretch Waiting can't pick it out. Another run scores. And Saugerties just like that takes the lead. So that's a critical mistake. It will be an E3, allowing Jamie Z to get himself on the base pad for the first time here as a Stallion. So they say in the booth here, E3. So Waiting. It was an awkward play to begin with. Robinson didn't get running lead on the throw like he intended, I think. And I don't know, just put it into the ground too much for the pick. So it's a 1-0 count right back on Casey Comiskey. And Bartlett is going to be responsible for that run. Logan Schuhl going to be responsible for Rodriguez. So it'll be 1 run and an unearned run for Schul in his first Outlaw star. There's another one sailing upstairs. And Casey Comiskey quickly adding the count 2-0. So Kyle Bartlett, hopefully he's going to find some clean way to get out here as a throw by Bose and a pick over there, letting him down. Throwing remarkable as always is another miss, going to make it 3-0. And now Bartlett's got to come back in the zone. Bartlett getting a long glance to first. It's Z over there after the error. And that one low. Ball 4. Comiskey taking one downstairs. Outlaws pitching staff continuing to struggle, giving up Watts. Have allowed the most in the Eastern Division to this point. First and second for Logan Sanchez, who grounded out 4-3 his first time up. Sanchez really trying to keep this 2-out rally going. Coming from JUCO ball down in Texas. This is his first ever summer collegiate ball. And he still only has 1 hit on the summer. Bartlett keeping a close eye, both base runners. Is this one a half swing? Fouled off. Sanchez with some good plate defense as the count rolling 0-1. Sanchez, the count he worked on Schul, was only a 2-1 in that second inning. Is again Logan Schul very efficient for this club. And you hope that he could start to rack up some big innings moving forward as he kind of find his own. Bose can't back pick that one. Got away behind the dish. Both base runners going to advance. Count rolls 1-1 as Z skirting over to third. And Comiskey getting a second. So that will be a wild pitch. And again, we remind you this inning should have been over a long time ago, but some costly mistakes by the defense for this Outlaw team. Keeping things going, and now 2 more in scoring position as the Stallions in danger of making this a big half inning. 1-1. Bose, nice pick low, 2-1. Bose, you got to think he's going to be real frustrated at the way this half inning's going. Never lets it get to him too much out there on the field. Tries to do what he can, shake everything off in stride. Is this one into right field? Dropping just inside the line in the corner. Clark going to get to it quick. Both runs have scored, though, as Comiskey trotting in behind Z. And that will be a pair of RBIs for Sanchez, and it's now a 4-1 score here in Saugerties. So this one is been a real tough inning, to say the least. Saugerties going to have their 8th guy of the half inning waltz up to the dish. And the Outlaws desperately trying to find some way to get out of this third. We've really kind of talked about it time and time again, not only here on our broadcast on YouTube, but just with everybody on this team, around this team. 7 to 8 good innings a ball game, and then it's really been one costly inning that has been proved the difference maker, and just about every single one of these ball games early on for this lost team. Last night it was the 8th. The game before that in Mohawk Valley ended up being a combination of the bottom of 7th, bottom 9, as both you had a lead. That one shot straight back, and it got to 1-1 on Blanco. You look back earlier, that Saugerties game, it was the 7th and 8th. And go back, very first opening night in Amsterdam was the 2nd inning and the 8th inning. They proved difference makers. So record standing at 1-4. Really looking to try to snap that skid here. As the 1-1, another foul ball, ripped straight backwards. And the count staying 1-2. So Bartlett going to look to find a way to get himself out here. Outlaws do have another arm starting to get loose and throwing down in the pen. Short lead off first for Sanchez. The 1-2 pitch sails high. And we run to 2-2. Blanco's just trying to find a way to win this battle. All of this scoring has happened with 2 outs. Had a run, an error, a walk, and then that pair of RBIs on the single for Sanchez. So a little 2-out Stallions rally as this one waiting, trying to find a play on it over into the bleachers. It drops. And so 5 pitches deep. Blanco continuing to fight. We'll try it again. Outlaws. Down here at Saugerties, will wipe out 3 of their 4 trips to Cantine already here in the early part of the schedule. And then following Saturday, won't be back here until Sunday the 13th of July. 2-2. Another cannonball in the right. Clark drifting over towards the line, has it. And finally the half inning comes to a close. Outlaws going to have some work to do. Saugerties potting 4, a pair of hits, 1 error. Into the 4th we go here at Cantine. Your score is 4-1 Saugerties. Back here to Cantine Field, top half of inning number 4. Outlaws now find themselves in a 4-1 hole after an inning that this team is going to look back on and shake their heads about for sure. 7, 8, 9 hitting the lineup. Nathan Bowes fouling the first one. Looked like off his left leg as he's hopping around after the fact. So that's certainly not what you want. But let's talk about the new pitcher here for Saugerties. Marciano Neglia taking over the bump. 5'10", 175 from Rockland Community College. He pitched for the Stallions team last year as well, including once against the Outlaws through 2 innings. But his final line on the summer, 1-0, 353 ERA, 28 innings, walked 12, struck out 14, giving up 35 hits. So again, Neglia. Here's the 0-1. And that one going to miss, 1-1. Bose did single his first time up. Bose has been getting a good rip on the ball every time he's been up there. And there's another example as it drops in front of Hobbin, Siefkin, and Wright. Second hit of the night for the Outlaws Sacred Harder. So a huge blast as Bose really came around on that one square. Excuse me. We got a Hugo Konhorst. Had an RBI single in the second. Figured that would creep out at some point. Did have some illness going around the Outlaw locker room a little bit in the early part of the schedule, but luckily with the break, things have kind of subsided as Konhorst taking strike one right down Main. Again, Bose now 2 for 2. And he's taking a short lead off first. This is his second appearance of the summer for Neglia after pitching up in a 1-run loss against Mohawk Valley on the road last week. It was a heartbreaking game for the squad, 10 innings. Virgil Heath, who was their DH last night, actually took the pitching loss on the hill. Didn't have too many arms to work with, so kind of forced to go a little bit deeper than he's used to. Ended up having to throw 2 2/3 before being charged for that game-ending run. It was Ethan Hughes who had to walk off there in Little Falls. 2-1. Konhorst a good rip, but can't connect. So it runs to 2-2. Konhorst going to look to do just about anything except put the ball on the ground here. Got to find a way to get some runs. Bose dancing lead off first, and Konhorst going to angle one off foul. And so we'll keep at it. Neglia has an arsenal, fastball, slider change. And Konhorst taking another one low, and the count runs full. So Hugo Konhorst, last time offering it the first pitch, and this time showing off his patience and persistency, working a count from 1-2 back to full. Here's the payoff. Konhorst fouled straight back, so we'll try it again. And here's pitch 8 of the AB coming up. Konhorst recently committing to take his services to Westchester next fall. It'll be his third different school in 3 years, similar to Saugerties starter Ryan Franklin. Started his collegiate career out at Mineral Area College. Only appeared in 9 games, hit .375, 6 for 16, couple of ribbies, couple of walks, had an RBI, 4 strikeouts as well. And then this year at Herkimer, he really turned it on. 40 games played, hit .400. Had 20 extra base hits. His Konhorst watching one for ball 4. Just couldn't put it back in the zone. Bose will advance over to second. It'll be first and second here for the Laws with nobody away. And Thomas Woodridge coming up looking for a big hit and a second straight plate appearance. Woodridge last time popped to short. He was ultra aggressive on the first pitch he saw. So again, it's Bose's second year for the Laws. Got Konhorst at first, and this one going to sail high and away for ball 1. Want to remind you, for the sake of the Damaski Field crowd, back at home Monday, Tuesday, and Tuesday, both free admission actually. Monday will be sponsored by Arcot Seago, and it'll be our tee-off time night as Woodridge out in the right center, drifting in a bit, caught by Rodriguez. Bose wanted to tag, but he's going to stay put as Rodriguez has an absolute missile of an arm out there. Would have been a sitting duck for sure if he had tried to go to 3. There's the first out. And so you can't even call it a sack. Woodridge is down. Zach Robinson And the one spot the 10-hole guy, 9-hole guy, whether you bat 9 or 10, really has to do is set the lineup up for a good turnover and going back to the top. They looked at Robinson as the guy to get some good turnover and going back to the top in an inning like this. Is the change going to miss low, and Robinson ahead 1-0 in the count here. Robinson really hungry, really eager to work some at-bats this summer and go back to Gardner-Webb, demand an opportunity for a role on the roster and a big role too. Opted to just learn from the vets as Gardner-Webb, the Fighting Bulldogs, got a really veteran-heavy middle infield, so didn't get the opportunity to see any action, but he played in some inter squads, played in some fall ball, little spring freshman type action, and now he's really getting in here, seeing some regular action for the first time here this summer and trying to prove his worth to the coaching staff he's going back to at GW. There's another nice drop, and Neglia answering back door to make it a 1-2 count. So Robinson doesn't look like he's comfortable reaching across the plate, so Neglia's got to think he's pelting the outside of the zone here. 1-2 pitch, and Robinson shoots it off foul. Hangs alive. But talking about the upcoming homestand Monday, Bo's looking like he wants to run the 1-2. Robinson not going to come around. Count runs to 2-2. We actually have a really fun game planned for middle of the game. I think it's middle of the third. And talking to our GM assistant, Mallory Frazier, always got to give her a big shout out for all she does. That's going to require paid entry. And, well, the winner of it, if anybody wins, is going to get a golf outing with their favorite Outlaws, so that's going to be fun. 2-2, shot off foul. And it'll, of course, will be monitored because keep our guys safe. The Ole Out Golf Course, proud sponsor of the Outlaws. They're actually hosting our second annual Outlaws golf outing on Sunday. It's Father's Day and a golf day for your Outlaws. Going to be a crazy weekend after the off day between coming down here to Saugerties Saturday and then the golf outing. Probably going to be a full day affair on Sunday for turning around, hosting Utica for tee-off time night Monday. Again, admission free, sponsored by Arcot Seago. 2-2. Robinson gets a good rip on this one, high and deep into left center, just in front of the track. Rodriguez holds it down. He guns it in, quick to short, as Z the cutoff, but that's going to be an out. A loud out as well as Bo's unable to tag. Nice to see Robinson get such a good deep rip on one, though. Very much have the Outlaws been looking for driving balls deep, putting balls in play, and they're doing that, just not getting the balls to fall as of right now. 5 hits on the scoreboard, and all of which have been singles. None runs as Uehara getting ahead 1-0 here. Uehara, 0-2 on the ball game so far. 6-3 ground out in the first. Also had a 5-3 ground out in the third. Neglia looking back behind him as Bo's playing some mind games. That one just above the shoe tips. And it's a 2-0 count here on Kaz. Kaz grew up around the major league setting quite a bit. His father, Koji, playing in the majors, also high-level Japan ball. Certainly gave Kaz the good baseball genes. Is that one a bouncer in the dirt? And the count rolling 3-0. So for whatever reason, the count's showing 4-0 there, and we'll fix that. There you go. 3-0 count. Sometimes freezes up a little bit. Do the best we can with our production side of things here. Is the 3-0. And looks like it grazed Uehara on the way by. So he'll flip the bat away. And the bases are going to be juiced here for the Outlaws with 2 down. And Jack Clark, the arguably hottest hitter in the lineup, going to roll up to the plate looking for a big hit with his brand new torpedo bat. Jack Clark used it for a couple of bats last week, but then last night used it for each of his ABs in Amsterdam. And it was a bat he hit the home run with, and Even though it's a shallow fence, Shuttleworth Park, that ball hung in the air for quite some time. As you saw the replay of the homer, we played it earlier on in one of the breaks. Drop in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. But those torpedo bats have really become a big thing. Clark's got one, got a couple of the other Outlaws who have one as well. Have tried to use them in a little bit in their at-bats. Clark, it seems like, really trusting it as that one sails over his head, getting away. Bose is charging in to score. And the Outlaws. So a wild pitch from Marciano Neglia scores Nathan Bose. Hugo Conworth charges over to third. Kazuhara getting his second. It's like Neglia just getting away from him. Came out of his hand, weird angle, drifted up too far. So regardless, counts 1-1. Now he's got an open bag, but the net just low and outside, 2-1. Neglia trying to keep this thing pretty tight. I mean, Saugerties has got somebody throwing in their bullpen in left, so Neglia, if he's unable to find a way with this 2-out situation, might see a pitching change. Through 2 innings in his start up at Mohawk. Does have some depth in his arm. Saw it last summer as this one on the left side of the infield. Charging is Z high, but in time is Comiskey able to pull it down. So there's a 6-3 to get the job done. But Oneonta does get another run. It will be 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. Middle of the 4th here in Cantine Field. Outlaws trailing by 2 here in Saugerties. Bottom of the 4th here in Saugerties. Gabe Cavazzoni will start things off as it'll be 9 and then top here for head coach Colin Martin. Colin Martin, I mean, talked about it a little bit with their starter, Ryan Franklin, before the game, but as somebody who played for him down in Florida, now playing for him here in the summer, said he's a totally different coach, a lot more relaxed, a lot more chillier in the summer, and just ultimately trying to help his players grow, develop their skill sets. And Martin, a lot of time just spent with these guys and trying to do the best that he can for each and every one of them. Not that you're not in school ball, but you're a lot more win, goal-oriented, and can certainly see that for the way the Weber program has been trending over the last couple of years since he took over as head coach. Weber going deep to the NAIA World Series this year, which actually delayed Colin Martin, a couple of the Weber players, from getting here to town early on. Still got their catcher from Weber still to come as well, be the 3rd Saugerties catcher to roll on in. Supposed to get here tomorrow, Franklin was saying, got to go pick him up tomorrow morning. So Saugerties roster, again, with 12 players still missing. Going to look probably a little bit different, not just Saturday when we get here, but especially when we go down the stretch run, playing Saugerties 4 more times in the month of July. Bartlett in a 2-2 count here against Cavazzoni now. Flew out to center field in the 2nd inning. Bartlett recorded those last 3 outs in the 3rd inning. Coming in behind Logan Schul. Defense certainly didn't help out his case too much. As this one, an elevator shot, foul territory right side. Waiting going over in front of the fence. Reaches up and pulls it down. Waiting with a massive pull down. Get the Outlaws a first out. And with how defense has been praised for this team after first tough inning you see of it on the summer, because I mean arguably that last half inning, the only true tough defensive inning we've seen from this Laws team starting the summer. Nice to see an early rebound on a play that was pretty tough, made by Connor Waiting. So top of the lineup, it's Rodriguez, and he's going to get ahead 1-0 in the count quickly. Rodriguez on base twice already tonight. A hit by pitch in the first, walked in the 3rd inning, stole 3rd, came in to score RBI single Justin Ford. Saugerties really piecing things together tonight, trying to find themselves back in the win column. This is the first time, mentioned it early on in the broadcast, that they've lost 3 in a row since 2022. So it's been a hot second since the Stallions group has been on a slide like this. Bartlett out of the stretch here is 2-0. Got a big leg kick with that one as he's now down 3-0. Bartlett and Zach Rowe have a pretty close friendship. Those two have kind of been stalwarts in the locker room so far, really trying to help build the team chemistry. Played travel ball together growing up and actually sharing a place this summer as Rodriguez drawing a walk. And he's been on base 3 times tonight despite not registering a hit. So now it's Travis Hobby-Siefken to hit here for Saugerties. We'll swing that camera back over a little bit here for you. Trying things out a little bit different tonight, trying to shoot with the one camera, give you a better view of the balls in play, and of course, do all of our production on the YouTube side of things. So hope you're enjoying our Outlaw feed. Feel free, drop any comments, make sure you subscribe, because all of our home games and vast majority of our road games, with the exception of Amsterdam, Utica, and Boonville as well, as there's the pick attempt at first, but nothing's there for Hobby-Siefken. Is count 1-0 here. Streamed right here for you. So, again, love to hear where you're tuning in from. We'll check out our YouTube comments. Give us a shout. Tell us who you're supporting to here on Laws YouTube. Is Bartlett taking a little eye over there to first. Now is 1 out. And Hobby-Siefken frozen by a strike as Bartlett coming back door in the zone. Bartlett, his fastball has really been his pitch that's doing a good job. It was what really worked for him against Utica as well. Tops out mid to upper 8s. As he looks over to first. Now is 1-1 again. Hobby-Siefken right through it. And it goes 1-2. Hobby-Siefken really tall in stature in the box. And he really is just trying to get something going here on the offensive side of the ball. He did have a hit when the Outlaws were last here. 1 for 3 on June the 1st. RBI coming courtesy of a sac fly. Also walked as Bo's going to throw the mask off. Chugging over foul territory. Bo lays down, sliding, comes up with it. Tagging Rodriguez, trying to get to second. Pops out on the transfer from Robinson. But, man, Nathan Bose, a web jam type catch to the right of the Outlaw dugout. And he's going to get all the kudos in the world for that. Huge play to give the Outlaws a second out. Rodriguez does advance on the infield fly, though. And so it'll be 2 outs and runner in scoring position for the Ponies. But now Nick Croce settling himself in. Croce is grounded out 1-3 both times up in the first and third. Bartlett, massive leg delivery. And deposits it in there for strike 1. Waiting, pinched way over off of first. Got Woodridge trying to hold Rodriguez the best he can, but mentioned it, he's certainly got some wheels out there. And any schools looking for speedy outfielder, take note. Luis Rodriguez might be your guy. Bartlett looks backwards. Rodriguez is on the move as this one over Bose's glove. Rodriguez gets third without a throw. So 1-1. There's a wild pitch. Bartlett's got 2 of those. And Saugerties is now 90 feet away from getting a third run up there to the board. Well, a 3-run lead, that is. They've scored 4 to this point. Bartlett, the 1-1. Sails high as Bo springs right up. He's been huge at keeping base runners on, doesn't want anybody to run on him. Robinson again, pinch more over towards 30 on the left side of the infield for Oneonta. Got Uhara drifting over a little bit towards left center here as well as they're prepared for Croce to put one in the air. 3-1 your count with 2 down. Against second of 8 this summer against Saugerties. Stallions took the first back on June the 1st. Second of 4 trips here to Cantine this summer. We're back here Saturday as well as Sunday, July 13th. Here's the 3-1. High in the air, left side, drifting back to the track. Zach Rowe comes in a bit and hauls it down. So Zach Rowe making a play to end the half inning. A huge catch and some really big defensive plays here by the Laws to keep this game in check. Kyle Bartlett finished 2 innings. Got to think with Outlaws having some action in the pen, he'll be done, but we'll let you know for sure next inning. We go to the 5th here in Saugerties. Outlaws trailing the Stallions 4-2. Marciano Neglia is trying to give the Stallions some distance out of the bullpen here at Cantine. He remains on the hill, and he's going to be greeted by 3, 4, 5 in the Oneonta lineup as we're back here with you on Laws YouTube. Zach Porter, the extra hitter, going to see Neglia for the first time, and he blasts the first one deep in the air towards left, chugging. Back goes forward, and he goes down on one knee to make the snag. So Porter, a loud, hard, deep first out. And put 1 on your score sheet. F7, Zach Porter, and we go Jameson Balick, who's trying to get another hit. Balick last night in Amsterdam, first hit of the summer as he swings right through one, trailed 0-1 in the count. He grounded out third to first in the opening inning of play, ended the frame, lost stranded one, also walked in the third and got left on as the count goes even to a ball and a strike. Outlaws, it's crazy. They've left on 8 through the first 4 innings. And so the opportunity is not like they haven't been there. As there's a nice pick from Sanchez, count running 2-1. Outlaws, 11 left on yesterday, as we talked about, have left double-digit on in all but one game so far, as Balick now in an even count at 2-2. Only game they didn't leave extras on was the game where they scored double-digit runs. That was the home standings counting opener against Utica last Wednesday. Balick back in a full count. Big home week coming up next week. 4 games at home. Monday, talking about tee-off time. Tuesday's our rescheduled family fun night against Glens Falls. That's free admission by PTO as Balick drawing the walk. Neglia, the off-speed, missing down and outside. And so the newly named All-American gets on base for the Laws. And we'll go to Connor Waiting with one away. Connor Waiting. He's the K-man here in Saugerties tonight, and he's done the exact opposite twice. He's walked both the second and the third, scored a run in the second to add for it. He takes ball 1, dropping off the lower outside. Base paths are empty here with one away, top 5, as Neglia put one right through center of the plate and Waiting out into the air, right field caught. As Haben Siefkin able to run it down. That is going to end the inning here in Saugerties as Waiting, a deep drive to right field, and Outlaws halfway home in this one. It's a 4-2 game. Coach March making another call to the bullpen. Third arm out tonight. Going to be Mr. Asa Dugan, local product of Morris. And he deals in strike 1, facing Justin Ford. Dugan, last year, only through 3 2/3 innings, all came in the final week against Watertown, and now he's already going to be eclipsing that total as he's thought of a guy who can really go deep for this team. Didn't throw too many innings this spring for the Ithaca JV squad. They had a lot of veteran arms, so put him on JV, and they only played 20-so games and certainly got the innings where he could. And he actually got the win in the exhibition game against Auburn that doesn't count for the stats, so this will be his first appearance of the summer that does count. That was 2 hits, 3 runs. His came on the 3-run bomb by Anthony Desiree from Auburn. The backup catcher entered in 6th inning in that game. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and Dugan 48 total pitches that night. So his arm certainly got a lot in the tank, having been arrested for over a week. And he's sporting a new haircut here tonight as well. So nice to see Dugan with a fresh cut here on the hill for the Laws. There's a count here, 1-2 quickly on Ford. That one bounced off the plate, and the count rolling to 2-2. Ford walked in the first inning, had an RBI single in the third. As Dugan back ready 2-2. And that'll come off the plate. Count runs full. Dugan, the one area where he's trying to grow a little bit this summer, is working on his velo. Sits low 80s, trying to creep up there a little bit. Certainly has the stuff. Saw it in high school. He helped Edmondson Morris to some nice Tri-Valley championships. As this one cross diamond, sits 3. Dugan gets a hard ground out. Robinson to waiting, gets it done for out 1. So not a matter of how you get the outs, it's just a matter of that they rack up. Takes 6 pitches to get it done, and now he sees Jamie Z. As Dugan really seeing some tough competition here, middle of the lineup. Down by 2, a really unique spot to be put in. Justin Ford being from Seton Hall. Now you see Z, who's committed to go to Notre Dame. Down to Comiskey, another Seton Haller. And so real mountainous inning, if you want to call it that, here for Dugan. And another appearance. Is this one going to be a fair ball? Ripped in the line. Down to left field, racing it into the corner row, chugging to second, standing up goes Z, and we won't get a throw from Robinson to second. As the damage done, that's a double. Z with a good rip on one, kind of drove it in the ground, and it just rolled and kept on rolling. So Rowe, being as he was pinched more over towards left center, had to cover some ground to get there. And outfield's still kind of new to him. He's working on getting back into a groove out there. So not to make excuses, but getting a good read on a ball, especially one that's hit the way that one was. Real tough go. Now it's Casey Comiskey, and double play will be off, pending something fluky. Comiskey going to take a called strike 1. Comiskey grounded out 4-3, so Woodbridge to waiting in the second inning, and then Watt advances second on a wild pitch, trotted in to score on the 2 RBI single by Logan Sanchez back in that third, where almost 4 Saugerties runs scored. Count now going to even up, ball and a strike here. Comiskey really going to try to put a ball in play. Started 33 games, hit 200 this spring for Seton Hall. And now, high fly ball on the infield. Dugan's waving everybody off, but coming in from third. Conor's going to get the job done. So Dugan tried to get the good read on it, but instead he gives way to his third baseman. And it pays off. Elevator shot of a P5. 2 are retired. And it's Logan Sanchez to swing the bat next here for Saugerties. Nobody's throwing yet in the Outlaw bullpen, so it's probably going to be a multi-inning outing for the Moores product. Sanchez back in that third inning, the RBI, 2 RBI single that gave the Stallions team the lead. Well, at the time, stretched the lead out, but Oneonta striking back with a run in the top half of inning number 4, so the 2 runs driven in by Sanchez, the difference maker at the moment. As this one straight up the middle, finds a hole in center. Uhara going to charge it, gets the throw in quick, meets the cutoff of Dugan, but the run slides in to score. That's an RBI, not Sanchez, has 3 ribbies on the night, and it is 5-2 Stallions. So straight up the middle, drops in, and all the Stallions' 5 runs have now come tonight with 2 outs. Z moseys in to score from second, and it will be Sammy Blanco to go now here for Saugerties. Sammy Blanco, a walk and a fly out to right as he put one up the line, foul, and a count going to 0-1. Blanco, Dallas College Eastfield, just concluded his sophomore year. Now here at Saugerties, playing his first season of summer ball, hoping to grow, develop even more. I mean, this spring he hit .361, which was huge. 9 extra base hits, 6 doubles, 3 triples. Didn't have any pumps, though. And now with 21 RBIs, who was average on the spring, he's already got 3 here in Saugerties this summer. And here's the 0-1. Towering fly ball again to right over Jack Clark. And the lights makes the grab. And that gets the job done. So, Saugerties stranding another runner on base. Mr. Logan Sanchez comes up with another RBI. He's got 3 on the game. Saugerties leading this thing 5-2 as we go top 6 here at Cantine Field. Top 6 here in Saugerties. Welcome back. The Outlaws going to try to strike on bat. Saugerties getting 1 off the next reliever out. Asa Dugan. 1 run getting charged to starter Logan Schul. 3 runs to Bartlett. And now Dugan taking 1 to his line. It is going to be 6, 7, 8 up in the lineup for Coach Keaton Mark, who you see walking back down towards the third base coaching box. He coaches third, and Josiah Aska mans first here for this Outlaw team. And Aska was down talking to the bullpen, probably about the pitching plan moving forward the rest of this game. As Rowe showing bunt, cranks it back, and he takes ball 1. Got to think it's going to be one of your high leverage arms if this game stays 2, 3, 4 runs like this. Got to try to find a way to get a win here in this one, get back to the W column. Outlaws 6-7 in the Eastern Division, as you saw in our standings update here a little earlier on. Rowe going to take a called strike, and a count running to 2-1. Only 4 teams do make the playoffs in this division this year, so even more critical to keep an eye on your standings place. Last year it was 6, but there was 8 teams in the division a year ago. Watertown now to the NYCBL, no longer a part. Albany used to be on this side as well. They're no longer part of the league, so things have changed for sure. As the 2-2, Rowe taking it on the pitch out, and the count running full. Behind row, we got Bose and Conehorst here in this top half for Oneonta as the payoff. Sails low, ball 4, and that's a leadoff base runner for the first time since the 4th. So Rowe fired the bat away. He's on, and now Nathan Bose, who's 2 for 2, going to look to stay hot. Looking over to Keaton Market third, see what the sign is. Zach Rowe yet to grab any bats here on the base pass this summer. Got his nice new sliding mitt on. Brought it brand new prior to the season. White with a little bit of black trim on it. Bose pinched way up on the chalk line here in the Outlaw batter box. Righty swinger from Tolan, Connecticut. Pops one in the air, left center side in front of the track. Rodriguez able to snag it down. And so it'll be another deep fly out as the Outlaws continue to rack up the loud outs, and there's one down. Hugo Conehorst now going to waltz up to the plate. He's been on twice, RBI single in the second. Walked and advanced over to third on a wild pitch before being stranded 90 feet away in the 4th. As he takes strike 1 right down the gut. Conehorst can't stress enough how huge he was for Herkimer. Floated up and down the lineup. Was a utility guy for them this spring as he got a good rip. And the count rolls 0-2. Played some third, played some short, played a little bit of first. Got a few outfield reps for the Generals as well. Kind of a do-it-all player. Does anything that's asked of him, and he's been just like that for the Outlaws here this summer as well. This is his 3rd summer in total in the PGCBL as he played 2 summers in Boonville. Was there in 23 and 24, and both summers struggled with a strikeout, hit just north of 200. 1-2. Just missing off the outside, lower in the plate. Counts at 2-2 here. Rowe. Short lead off first. He looks like he wants to run. As Conehorst, good plate defense, going to whack one back foul. And so we'll keep going. Outlaws continuing to work up the pitch counts and work some long ABs. And that's one thing that this team has really been stressing that they want to do is just continue to get in the driver's seats and at bats and work out early. Rowe almost halfway to second on that one in foul territory. Comiskey raced over but ran out of room and plenty extra. So Conehorst is now 7 deep. Count still 2-2. Second and third are both open here with 1 out. Outlaws bullpen still totally quiet and right, so Asa Dugan more than likely coming back out for bottom 6, pending some crazy change. Now 8 pitches in, Hugo Conehorst finds himself in a full count here at Cantine Field under the lights. Outlaws trying to shine the brightest here under the lights in Saugerties as Conehorst, another nice rip, foul, just past the pen. So Hugo Conehorst continuing do what he does best, getting ahead of opposing pitchers. Comiskey trying to do his best, holding on Rowe as Conehorst now puts one in play. Right side going back, Cavazzoni, Abitsifkin in, makes the snag. And that is going to be the second out. So at the very least, even though these balls aren't dropping in, you got to look at the positives that finally the Outlaws are getting barrels on baseballs, starting to drive them around, fill up the field. because eventually, you keep swinging, and that's one thing that Thomas Woodbridge was saying on the bus today, and even kind of last night after the game in Amsterdam. You keep swinging, those hits are eventually going to come. Misses down and away, and Woodbridge gets ahead 1-0. He's put 2 balls in play tonight, popped to short in the second inning first pitch, then only needed 2 in the fourth inning as he flew out to center. 1-0. Rowe a dancing lead. Got to think Woodbridge keeps going like this, that Rowe might be on the move. But they do have the 5 runs. Woodridge, another good rip towards Joe Aska, the first base coach. And a count to 1-2, so Rowe should be going on anything here. Woodridge desperately trying to find a ball in play. Saugerties, 5 runs on the scoreboard, all with 2 outs tonight. Outlaws come earlier in half innings. Got to change that tune. Rowe's running. 1-2, straight up the middle from second. Cavazzoni, the high throw to Comiskey, the stretch. And they say that he gets the out there. So it looked like it was pretty close. Woodridge got down the line really fast as he always does. Outlaws will have Robinson and then top of the lineup coming up in the 7th. But first, Saugerties to bat here in the 6th. And it will be Asa Dugan back on the hill when we return. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Cantine Field. 9-1-2, going to face Asa Dugan. Starts to get a little cool in Saugerties. Cavazzoni flew out to center field, facing Kyle Bartlett. First time around, and he popped to first last time. As this one, bunt laid down in front of the plate. Bose charges, stretched by Waiting, gets it done. So Cavazzoni retired on a 2-3. Another defensive effort for the Butch for Nathan Bose. And now it's the top of the lineup, Luis Rodriguez. I like the thought process there, try to bunt for a hit. But you got to think after a little while, the word's going to get out how good Nathan Bose is back there, as that one squares and misses high for ball 1. Nathan Bose did make a handful of starts for Sacred Heart as a true freshman. And seems like the coaching staff has been impressed with what he's been doing here in Oneonta so far this summer. As Rodriguez deep to center, Uhara back makes the grab. And there's 2 quickly retired. So Dugan's being pretty efficient here coming out of the Oneonta pen. And efficient half innings is what you need. Travis Hobby and Siefkin with 2 down. And Dugan trying to pitch a 1-2-3. Outlaws have yet to spin a 1-2-3 tonight. Haben Siefkin has been retired all 3 times, and he takes ball 1. Haben Siefkin, Robinson waiting ground out in the first, fly out to Uhara in the third, and then a pop up to Bose last time as Haben Siefkin straight on back, and the count goes even to a ball and a strike. So Haben Siefkin trying to find a way to keep the 2-out match hit for Saugerties going on this Thursday night. Gets the 1-1, and Haben Siefkin another one, shot straight backwards. Count to 1-2. So Dugan staying real efficient here for Oneonta. Again, talked about it, but he was a great player during his high school days for Morris, was a 3-sport athlete, also played soccer and basketball as well, and baseball was his one true love, and now he's doing it at a higher level, and it counts to 2-2 on Bo's bat pick. Another one fouled straight back by Haben Siefkin. Dugan in high school, also one of the few pitchers in the area in Otsego County to throw a perfect game. Did an elite game as well. One thing about him is pitches really consistent, works in curveball and a slider, as well as a changeup to his fastball. Dropped one, it looked like that was for sure called strike 3, but instead the zone shrinking a bit, count going fully on Haben Siefkin, who's running back up there. Big pitch coming here to payoff. And that one whacked off foul, so we'll keep doing it. Haben Siefkin was tied for the most strikeouts in high school baseball in New York his senior year. Really racked him up for the Mustang Panthers. Is a payoff. Haben Siefkin, foul ball right side, waiting, gonna run out of room. But he's not going diving into the bleachers for that. So, Haben Siefkin now is seeing 8, and Dugan's pitch count starting to climb. Nobody's throwing in the pen and right for Oneonta as of yet. Payoff, foul back. And so Haben Siefkin, 9 pitches in. Here's going to be a 10-pitch at bat here in this bottom of the 6th. At least. Dugan payoff again. Fair to third. Across the diamond in time. Conhorst to waiting. Gets the out. And Asa Dugan going to get the W in the battle with the Stallion right fielder, Travis Haben Siefkin. To the 7th we go here in Saugerties. The Outlaws still trailing in this one, 5-2. Stallions going to make another pitching change. Neglia closes out 3 innings, and he only gets rung up for 1 run and 1 outlaw hit, striking out a couple and walking just 1. It will be 10-1-2s with Zach Robinson starting things off against John Ryder, the new arm. Ryder just 1 appearance, inning and a third as Robinson squaring the bunt down the line, stays fair, charging Croce, airmailed the throw and pulled Comiskey off the bag. So bunting for a hit, Zach Robinson gets himself on base, starting things off. So it didn't work for Saugerties in the last half inning when Gabe Calvazzoni tried it, but it worked for Zach Robinson here to get on base. And to the top of the lineup we go as it's Kazuhara here for the Outlaws. Saugerties going to shift to double play depth as Uhara showing bunt, putting it down the line, charging, the throw on the run, pulls Comiskey off the bag. Robinson turned and looked behind him. He slides into third foot first. Uhara trying for some heads-up base running. Nobody was covering the bag. Gets all the way to second, and the Outlaws just like that going to have 2 in scoring position on the defensive blunder. So that, a huge one for Uhara. So going to be single and an error to advance the base runners here. So E5 going to go into the scoreboard as we'll add that to our stat pages here in Saugerties. Again, Outlaws now really in a good spot here, nobody away. Jay Clark, man who loves to put the ball in play, down 0-1 in the count. 0-1, gonna sail upstairs and goes to 1-1 here on Clark. He's 1 for 3 on the evening. A 5-3 ground out in the first, single, stolen base in the second, got forced out, stitch 5, and then last time up in the fourth, grounded out, stitch 3. So the 1-1, swung right through by Clark, and the count to 1-2. Clark, that's not the... Clark, last thing he needs is to find himself walking back to the dugout here. Anything will work. Trying to stretch something out against John Ryder, who again is in just his second appearance of the summer. Count running to 2-2 now. Got 2 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. And one of his hits, which he gave up, was a triple in his first outing of the summer. So the count 2-2. And this one straight on backwards. Is Clark going to hang alive and keep fighting? Big rock from the stretch as Clark angling one off foul up the right field line yet again. John Ryder from Binghamton U, from Marlboro, New York. And in Marlboro High School, he was certainly remarkable. Success hasn't translated over to the D1 game as of quite yet. The 4-year letterman at Marlboro High, first team all-section pitcher, led his team to multiple sectional final and regional final berths. Is that one going to miss up high? And now the count full here on Clark. He also in high school was a big basketball and golf player, qualified for sectionals, golf a couple of times. So Ryder, pretty talented, multi-greens. And there's still nobody away here against him in this top half of the 7th. And Saugerties looks like going to start to get somebody throwing in their pen. Outlaw pen totally quiet down and right. Is the payoff, tap towards third, charging over Croce, checking Uhara, gets it over to first. Uhara dives to third, and he gets in there. So they don't get Clark at first, they don't get Uhara at third. A run counts, and the Outlaws are within 2. So what a run down the line for Jack Clark to put that one in play. And now our umpires, field umpire is Bob Strempek, and he came to say something to head coach Keaton Moore. No matter what, whether there's an out or not, run is going to count, and the Laws will be within 2, but it's just a matter of, are we going to have 2 base runners or just 1? And they are going to call Jack Clark out at first. So 5-3, he's retired. You don't love to see an overturned call like that, but at least it moves up Uhara 90 feet and give the Outlaws a chance to get within 1 here. Zach Porter going to try to do some damage. Zach Porter on base twice tonight, a walk in the first inning, a single in the third, and he also has flown out to Justin Ford and now takes strike 1. Porter continuing to get good bat on ball, and since coming in here to town, he was a couple of days later than many of the Outlaws. Has really made an impact for this team in so many ways, both behind the plate, at the dish, and in the locker room. One pitch, straight up the middle, bumbled by Z, and he won't get a play off. Porter gets down the line safe. Uhara scoots in to score, and the Outlaws going to be within 1, as that will be an E6 to get the run home. So Uhara it looks like going to be sent back to third. And so take that run away. It'll be runners at the corners with 1 out. So again, it's an E6. And count running to 1-0 here on Malik. So certainly very interesting to see Uhara get sent back, but regardless, count running to 2-0 here. And now Balick just can't afford to put one up the middle on the ground. Can do just about anything but that here, just trying to piece something together. Outlaws have put single ones on the board in 3 half innings, and here's the count, running to 3-0 now. Again, second base is the only bag open. On the run, Porter trying to take away the double play. Is that one a called strike? He does get the bag. And so it'll be second and third here with a 3-1 count. So 3-1. And this one, gonna sail, miss high, ball 4. And Balick will be on the base pass. And the pond's gonna be loaded here for Connor waiting in a critical spot. This would be the moment where you want your first hit of the summer to come. And Saugerties now gonna go for a mound visit. Not quite the worst time in the world to come out here. Just try to give your arm who's warming up a chance to get a little more loose, get kind of cranked up a bit, because certainly may need it fast. Error did get wiped off the board. We got confirmation on the confusion. There was catcher's interference on Sanchez that allowed Johara to be sent back. So that's the reason he's at third. Looking around for who's on. Johara at third, Porter at second, and Baylett standing at first here for Oneonta. So the leading run now sitting over at first base here for Waiting. Waiting continuing to struggle, but hoping that he can put his struggles behind him in a big way. Waiting his last time, flew to right. And now he'll come to the box, facing John Ryder. Again, he's a Binghamton U arm. Big leg kick is Waiting. Going to try to go fastball and swing, and he'll trail 0-1. Outlaws now up to 7 hits on the scoreboard, 2 of which have come in this half inning, both of which were bunch 4 hits from Robinson Johara. 0-1, and Waiting going to be frozen by it as it'll go to strike 2. So I guess the mound visit for Saugerties certainly did something to this. Ryder takes a look behind him. 0-2, going to miss upstairs yet again, and a count to 1-2. Ryder hanging out on the first base side. Coming up in the 8th inning, we will take a look around the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard tonight, as we've been trying to do here once or twice a game. Give a look as to what's going on, and there's some big games in the Western Division on their side tonight. It's a couple East Division games going on today. Count to 2-2 here on Waiting after trailing 0-2. Outlaws doing their best, fighting back in at bats all game long, as that one pops off to the left. Sanchez gets to the bat stop. Johara charges in to score. Both base runners advance as well, and the Outlaws within 1 here in the 7th. So that one, Ryder just elevated it up there and got away. Sanchez just couldn't spring up quick enough. Porter getting to third, Baylett's at second, and there's still just 1 out, and first base is open. This one comes off the mask of Sanchez. And Waiting's going to walk away. Sanchez looks like he's fine. Just readjust that blue and red mask that he's sporting. We are getting a new ball being walked out to John Ryder. Waiting. Again, he 6 pitches into the set-bat. Got Comiskey pinched up a little bit on the edge of the grass. Croce ready to come in as well. Every infielder now going to come in a little bit. Is Waiting. 7 pitches in. Count still full. He trailed 0-2. And now this at-bat has been one John Ryder's trying to win. Certainly been a battle in this real solid inning that the Outlaws have strung together to this point. Ryder. Here's another go at the payoff. And Waiting going to take it for ball 4. And the bases are going to be juiced with just 1 down. So this is for the best here for Oneonta. Zach Rowe now gonna try to find some ball in play and hopefully at least tie this game up, maybe even give the Laws the lead. Down by just one. Zach Rowe going to take one high and away. Ball one on the on-speeder. Ryder's got to do a better job locating his pitches in the zone. Ryder the 1-0. Once again sails high, and if he's not careful, run could come in a very different way. Porter off third. Balick off second. Waiting now at first. The 2-0. Rowe towards third. Charging. Croce goes home with the throw. And Sanchez gets the force. So bases still will be full with 2 away. As that will be a 5-2 to get Porter a very weird out. Balick advancing to third, waiting now at second. Rowe to first on the fielder's choice. And Nathan Bowes probably going to have all the pressure on his shoulders here. He certainly puts a lot on himself in every big situation he comes in. He's 2 for 3, couple of singles and a fly out to center, and now takes strike one. Bowes was nice to see him get back on the right side of things after a hitless game yesterday. He was really frustrated with the strike zone yesterday up at Shuttleworth. As the 0-1. Great drop inside the zone. Runs it to 0-2. And now Bowes will be swinging for anything here with 2 strikes. He's the guy who talks about how he thinks the swinging strikeout is just about the worst thing in baseball. Never want to see any of those on your line. And this one, he's trying to say it clipped him on the elbow. It looked like it did. The umpires are going to come together. So Bowes, Sanchez having a nice conversation, and for second time in the last 2 innings, umpires coming together, having a grand old chat. Keaton Mark coming over to talk to our umpires. Keaton Mark clearly frustrated as they call Nathan Bowes out on a swinging K. So the bases get left loaded for the Outlaws for a second time tonight. That certainly takes a while just to say he was out. Umpires got to get it together. To the bottom of the 7th we go here at Cantine. Laws are down by 1. Bottom of the 7th here at Cantine Field. Stallions lead a shrunk to just 1 as the Laws play 2, top half of the 7th. Asa Dugan's been sitting for a while, but he comes out trying to do a 3rd inning. Nick Grossi going to work ahead in the count 1-0. He's 0 for 3 on the night as it is 3-4-5 for the Stallions here in the lineup. And there's a called strike as the count's going to run even to 1-1. Dugan, last half inning, pitching a 1-2-3. First one that the Lost staff has thrown in this ball game. Need to keep this in a close game. And this one right to Uhara as he doesn't even have to move to make the grab. And there's 1 away. So a little easy routine line shot. And if Asa Dugan keeps up like this, well, got to think he might be in contention to move to the starting rotation moving forward. 2 great outings here out of the bullpen, so we'll go to Justin Ford with 1 away. Ford going to take ball 1, missing high. Ford on base twice, walking the first, RBI single and scored in the 3rd, and then grounded out. Robinson to waiting last time as he puts one again towards Robinson. Bobbled a bit on the transfer across, Diamond to waiting. There it is. And there's 2 away as Dugan continuing to work real quick, real efficient here for the bullpen. Jamie Lee, after a ground out in his first plate trip, on base each of the last 2. An error in the 3rd, scored a run. A double, scored a run in the 5th. With 2 away, this one bombed right through. Jamie Z can't connect, and it's an 0-1 count. Got waiting over a little bit off first here. Robinson again towards 3rd. This Outlaw infield set up weird type of shift all night long. 1-1 your count. There's Dugan again, going to kick and deal. Big swing. And a count to 1-2. And now he needs just 1 more to send him down 1-2-3 for a 2nd consecutive frame. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss as Jamie Z's retired. Dugan is now sent down 7 in a row, and he's feeling it as he walks off the hill. Top 8 we go here in Saugerties. The Stallions still leading this game by just a single run. Top 8 from Cantine Field. Welcome back here to Saugerties. Outlaws. It's going to be 8-9-10. They batted 8 in the 7th inning against John Ryder, and he remains out for another half inning trying to get job done and save this bullpen a little bit with still games to come tomorrow and Saturday and still not their full arm staff in town yet. Saugerties tomorrow is at Utica. That'll be a 6:45 start and be Saugerties' first trip there, and just the second game that Utica has played at home on their brand new turf. Conors, a little whacker off foul, and the count even to 1-1. They played one the other day on their kids' day out that I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, losing to Boonville 5-3, but it will be their public opener of the summer. So make sure if you need something to do tomorrow night, that could be a fun one and good opportunity to keep an eye on the next two teams the Laws are seeing. Conors did offer at this, so the count to 1-2. Was thinking about making the trip myself tomorrow, checking things out. Got a couple of the Outlaws who were thinking about going as well, so always love what the off days can bring in Oneonta. There's always something to do. Here's the 1-2. Conors down in the dirt, count to 2-2. Outlaws talking about what's to come. Back here Saturday, 7:05, again against the Stallions. Then Monday and Tuesday, both free admission nights at historic Tomaski Field. As Conors sent down swinging. Ripped right through one for the first out here this 8th. His Ryder finally able to pop a fastball in that lower quadrant. So we go to Thomas Woodridge with one down. Monday night is tee-off time night. It's sponsored by Arcade Seagull. Great day after our golf outing event, which if you still want to get a team in, head to Outlaw social media now. Taking registrations up till tomorrow, 9 a.m. tee-off. Only out golf course, Franklin Mountain, Sunday morning. So it'll be a great time. Got 14 teams registered right now, up from our 8 last year. As the event continuing to grow. Got a bunch of brand new sponsors for it as well. Is the count 1-0, and Woodridge showed bunt and put it back foul. Coming straight back behind the plate, so counts to 1-1. Woodridge, a lefty swinger, stands in there, 5'10", 190. From Fayetteville, New York, and heard from him prior to the game Amsterdam yesterday. Check out that interview on our socials. Was talking about how fun it is to get assigned to a place that's so close to home to play summer ball. Gets his family in the stands when they can be in attendance, and super nice to have them close that they can come out and enjoy some outlaw ball and see him. He did redshirt this spring from Wofford as the count to 2-2. After Woodridge, it'll be Robinson and then top of the lineup. Two. Woodridge out in the left center, racing, and it's caught by Rodriguez as he's been all over the place out there in the outfield confines. So 2 are retired here for the Outlaws in a row. And it will be Zach Robinson. Bullpen's totally dead, so must be Asa Dugan going to get entrusted with a 4th inning. Robinson is 1 for 3 tonight. The exact same performance he had when the Outlaws were last here, June 1st. Robinson takes a breaking pitch for a called strike 1 to trail down 0-1. On the first base side, Ryder was ready, and that one ripped right through. As Robinson quickly down to his last strike here, top 8. Ryder, 0-2, just missing. As Sanchez had a good frame job on that. Count to 1-2. Ryder did strike out Bose to end the 7th. Struck out Hugo Conors to start this half inning. Both swinging Ks. The 1-2. And there's a 3rd strikeout, all swinging as Robinson retired. So 1, 2, 3 for John Ryder after a shaky seventh. He heads off, and we will head aside. Bottom 8 next up. Walls are trailing 5-4 here in Saugerties. Stallions lead 5-4 as we bring you back here to Cantine Field. It'll be Asa Dugan's fourth inning of work here on the hill for Coach Keaton Mark. It'll be his longest outing of work since finishing his high school senior season late May last year. And a count to 1-0 here on Casey Comiskey. Casey Comiskey 0 for 2, a walk, run scored as the 1-0. And Bo's nice frame job, and the count to 2-0. Dugan has had plenty of time in the dugout between innings as the Outlaws have run together some nice at-bats. Did just get sent down 1-2-3 by Ryder as the breaking pitch gets a called strike. And it's to 2-1. And Bo's going to slide on over his account to 3-1. Conor set right back up behind third. Robinson drifting over a little bit as the 3-1. Going to sail in high. That's ball 4. And so Dugan's streak of 7 straight sent down comes to a close. And it'll be Logan Sanchez to now come swing the bat. Nathan Bose is going to walk out. Taught to Dugan. Try to settle him down. And it's the other catcher, Logan Sanchez, who again, 2 singles, 3 RBIs, also has a 4-3 ground out. So he has put one on the ground tonight. One of his singles was on the ground as well. And that's exactly what Dugan's looking for as a ground ball. Is that one going to sail, miss up and away, and the count to 1-0. Dugan keeping a close eye on first. Is the 1-0. Swung right through. And Sanchez, count going to 1-1. Colin Martin's having a quick conversation with Logan Sanchez. Outlaws starting to get somebody loose in right field if Dugan can't get out of this inning. Short lead for Casey Comiskey off first. He looks like he wants to get a jump and go. Sanchez showed bunt. Bo snap throw to first. And Comiskey able to get back in there safe. Does go for a strike. So Sanchez going to be fighting aggressively. Dugan doesn't shake off Bose at all as he readies. Here's the 1-2. Sanchez with a fly ball up behind the plate. Gets out of here. So we'll try it again. Comiskey still a short lead off first. Dugan the 1-2. And that one half swung on. Bose firing the mask off. He goes racing for it. Waiting went there as well, and it dropped on the Outlaw dugout. So Sanchez continuing to fight. Is the count at 1-2. Dugan the 1-2. This one towered out in the left field, chugging bat Zach Rowe just in front of the trip. The stutter step catch gets it done. And so he'll fire it back to the infield as there's a huge first out for Asa Dugan. Loud outs have really been the story for both teams in this game tonight. And now it's Sammy Blanco to swing the bat 0 for 2 with a walk. He's had 2 flyouts to right, so both to Jack Clark, who seems like he knows it too as he takes a couple of steps in. Shot off foul as Blanco going straight backwards with it. So Dugan will get a new baseball. And there's an arm throwing in right. Outlaws using 5 arms to get through Amsterdam last night. Is this one left side? Past the glove of Conors and Robinson into shallow left. Chugging and getting a third goes Comiskey. And it will be runners at the corners here for the Stallions on a fluky ball that squeaks through. So that'll be a single. As Sammy Blanco able to find a spot. Double play will be in effect, so you got to wonder if Blanco will be running, try to take it away. Now it'll be Gabe Cavazzoni to swing the bat. Cavazzoni yet to find a hit tonight or be on base. Fly out to Uhura in center, popped to Waiting, and last time tried to bunt and was forced out in a gun throw, goes to Waiting. Starting off the 8th, so Conor is going to come in from third, Waiting, holding on Blanco. Pitch out as that one's sailing high. And a count to 1-0. Outlaws desperately looking to keep this game where it's at. Certainly needs something as Dugan gets a swinging strike. You'd much prefer to come back to the plate in the top of the 9th in a 1-run game than in a 2, 3-run, 4-run game. Certainly made things a little easier. Big swing and a miss. Cavazzoni behind in the count 1-2. Outlaws lost their entirety of the month of July on the road last year, where home Warriors have not won a road game since June 30th of last summer. The 1-2. Big swing and a miss. As Cavazzoni's retired, there's 2 away, and we are going back to the top of the lineup as it'll be Luis Rodriguez with runners at the corners in a critical spot here for the Ponies. Luis Rodriguez on base 3 times tonight, but still yet to register a hit. 2 walks, a hit by pitch. Also has stolen a bag, has been stranded twice, and scored once. He takes ball 1 on the breaking stuff from Dugan. A little nasty off speed that just creeped above the zone on the opposite side. Dugan the 1-0. And Rodriguez elevated, shallow center. Woodridge waves the infielders off as you are, makes the grab. So that will get caught, and that will strand 2 on for Saugerties. Should have a closer coming in as we go top 9 here at Cantine. Outlaws are down by 1, and they will have top of the order up when we come back. Big inning ahead for the Outlaws here at Cantine Field on the road. Back here, Outlaw YouTube, Colby Smith. 5-4 Stallions is your score. Asa Dugan for remarkable innings out of the bullpen, allowing just 1 run. He would be on tap for the loss if the Outlaws can't find a way to tie this thing up, though. So got to hope for the best as it is top of the lineup. And Kazuhara, Jack Clark, and Zach Porter to try to do it. Greg Bruno on in the save situation for Saugerties. He's already thrown 4 2/3 innings and has yet to allow a run. He surrendered 3 hits and he struck out 7 as he's a guy who has very electric stuff and drops in a strike 1. His first 2 innings of the summer actually came against these Outlaws through the 8th and the 9th in that 10-1 victory in the Outlaws' last trip down here. Bruno, the 0-1, sails high. Uhura evening it up here 1-1. They do have Croce and Comiskey both drifting in from the corners a little bit. Outlaws have scored in 3 different half innings tonight. As Bruno is 1-1. And Uhura about swung on over with that. Going to 1-2. Uhura, lots of wiggle room in that batter's box. As the 1-2. drills him on the back of the jersey. The first hit by pitch that Greg Bruno has fired up. And now Kazuhara's on base, and the Outlaws going to have some life ahead of Jack Clark. Jack Clark going to settle himself into the box. Single tonight. 1 for 4 in total. Really needs a hit in a situation like this. Shows bunt and pulls it back. Taking strike 1 though. Now Croce will drift in a little bit from third. Probably a good call, knowing that the bunt's seemingly going to be on. Clark shows it again, pulls it back. Count evened up here at 1-1. And Clark gonna take a called strike 2. Somehow that floated to the bottom lower quadrant. So the count's at 1-2. And now Uhara is going to have to be heads up. His base running has been phenomenal when he's found a way on this summer. 1-2. Clark swinging K as he went reaching for one off the plate. And now it's Zach Porter, and the Outlaws' life starting to trickle down a little bit. Porter on base 3 times tonight. An umpire's interference, a single, and a walk with a fly out to left, the only out that he himself has accounted for. Bruno, the first one to him, bulleted high, and that's ball 1. And Porter with his Wofford teammate Kazuhara on first. Massive spot. As Uhara's on the run. Sanchez to throw down to second. Bounces away into center field. Uhara, his head had been up. Probably could have ran to third there. But you love to see him get at least one bag regardless. Take the double play off, and it counts to 2-0. Sanchez with a missile of a throw down to second and just put too much there to get it in the center. So we'll make a go for it again. 2-0 count, 1 away. Outlaws down by 1 here on the road at Saugerties. Stallions have won 11 in a row against the Outlaws. Dating back to early in 2023. Is that one 3-0 now going to be your count? Last win that the Outlaws recorded against Saugerties 2023, Sunday, June 18th, and it was here at Cantine Field by a 14-2 score. Since then, Saugerties has won 5 straight against the Outlaws here. 3-0. Misses high, ball 4, and it will be first and second with just 1 away. Well, it's coming up in a bid situation with 2 on. 2 wants a strikeout and also grounded out 5-3. And he takes a big rip at one. Went right through it for strike 1. Bruno's got a lot of pop on his fastball, sitting low 90s. Saw it all spring, Embry-Riddle, pitch division 2. Actually down in the Sunshine State Conference in Florida. It is now the 0-1. Good break, and there's strike 2. And Bollock down to his final strike, your top 9. Outlaws just 2 outs to work with. Bruno shake off Sanchez twice, and now he comes back ready. Bruno glances behind him. Lato, swing and a miss. Bollick went pulling for one, down out of the zone. And Outlaws down to their last out as it's Connor waiting. Waiting. Desperately looking for something. Both runners looking like they want to move. Is waiting. Ball one. It's a huge spot. I know Connor very well, and I know he's thinking to himself right here, I got to put this team on my back and get this done to tie this thing up. Looking backwards. Bruno is one out. Waiting, going to take it for a called strike. It turns him away from the dish. Zach Rowe waiting on deck. So Outlaws bullpen gets a warning here with 2 outs, top of the 9th. 1-1. Waiting, taking a strike. And so Saugerties down to just 1 strike away from 12 straight victories against the Outlaws. And moving back to 500 here in 2025. Biggest pitch of the ball game right here is Bruno back ready. Counts 1-2. And waiting, brush backwards. Is that one missing high? Counted 2-2, so we'll try it again. Bruno, here's the pitch. Waiting, gets rung up looking, and this one comes to a close. Bruno, 3 strikeouts in this 9th inning with a walk and a hit by pitch sandwiched in between. And this one comes to a close in Saugerties as the Stallions getting the better end of the Outlaws yet again. Outlaws, a very valiant effort against one of the better teams in the PGCBL that falls just short as they once again, for a 2nd straight day, on the losing end and the losing streak is at 3. Saugerties snaps their 3-game losing streak, and they're certainly going to hope that they can keep their winning ways going tomorrow at Utica. They'll travel to the Blue Sides, play at 6:45. Final line, 5 runs for Saugerties on 5 hits, 1 error. And for the Outlaws, 4 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. They're back in action when we return here to Saugerties on Saturday. 2 trips in 3 days to play these ponies. Outlaws to 1-5, Saugerties to 4-4. And we will see you back here on YouTube Saturday night, 6:50 pregame, 7:05 first pitch. Thanks so much for watching tonight. And as always, roll Laws.